Tranquility interrupted today as basketball's biggest stars come out to play. An NBA Classic featuring 8 Dream Teamers in a dream game.
Is the NBA on NBC. Today, the world's greatest athletes are showcased in the 43rd annual NBA All-Star Game.
The NBA All-Star Game, for the first time, hosted by the capital city of Utah. The Delta Center, a sellout of 20,000 fans to witness the 43rd NBA All-Star Classic. A year ago, Orlando, home of the Magic, a day for Magic. Three-pointer, yes! Oh, my! Magic Johnson in his final NBA appearance, writing a dramatic chapter with an incredible MVP performance. It was the All-Star Game's most emotional finish. Hello, everyone. I'm Dick Enberg, and welcome to this All-Star Game. We've got a player, we've got a coach. First to the player, Magic. What do you remember about a year ago?
Well, Dick, 2 things. First, before the game, the players came over, hugged me, congratulate me, wish me well, and then the three-pointer at the end of the game, 14 seconds left, the guy just said, "That's enough." They stopped the game for me, and that was tremendous.
The sense of drama that your own players had to say, hey, there can't get any better than this after that last three-pointer. Now, the scene shifts to Salt Lake, and a new year and a new name, Shaquille O'Neal. Will he be this year's MVP, do you think?
I don't think so, because traditionally, big men don't get a lot of shots in this game, so don't look for Shaquille to do a lot in this game. I look for other players to have fun in this game other than Shaquille.
All right, and we have a coach with us as well. When he was with the Atlanta Hawks, 88, you were on the bench for the All-Star Game. To many fans, it looks as if the coaches in this game just keep a seat warm.
Not the case. Actually, both coaches become a minutes manager early in this basketball game. Their biggest concern, to make sure that all 12 players on their squads get equal minutes at least during the first 3 quarters of the basketball game. Come crunch time, 4th quarter, both coaches have said they'd go with the players who have played best up to that point. Both of them want to win this game.
Now, is there any time to work on specific plays?
Well, both coaches put plays in yesterday. In fact, I remember back in '88, I had a couple pages that I slid under their door the night before. I asked them the next day in the locker room, did everybody read their plays in Magic? They all said, yeah, we read them, Coach.
Yeah, they said it because they wanted more playing time.
The name that we haven't asked you about is Michael Jordan.
I look for Michael Jordan to have a big game. Because Shaquille has been the topic of all the stories this week, but because Michael understands that endorsements-wise, he's going to have to shine today, so look for Michael Jordan to be the leading candidate for the MVP.
All right, we're ready for the introduction of the starting lineups and those who are reserves for this All-Star Classic. And with the announcement, the voice of the Utah Jazz, Dan Roberts.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Delta Center in the 43rd Annual NBA All-Star Game. And now, let's meet the 1993 Eastern Conference All-Stars. The head coach is the owner of the best winning percentage of any coach in NBA history. Winner of 4 championships with the Los Angeles Lakers, and now the head coach of the New York Knicks, Pat Riley. Assistant coaches from the New York Knicks are Dick Harder and Jeff Van Gundy. And trainer for the East All-Stars is Joe O'Toole of the Atlanta Hawks. Playing in his 5th All-Star game, this gifted big man is considered the best passing center in the league. He also leads the NBA in field goal percentage from the Cleveland Cavaliers, Brad Doherty. This veteran's all-around skills have made him a four-time All-Star and a four-time member of the NBA All-Defensive Team. The most valuable player of the 1989 NBA Finals from the Detroit Pistons, Joe Dumars. An All-Star for the seventh time, this 7-footer is one of the most dominant players in the game. He's won an NCAA championship and 2 Olympic gold medals, and now he's on a mission to capture his first NBA title. From the New York Knicks, Patrick Ewing. The oldest player in the 1993 All-Star game, he's having one of the finest seasons of his 12-year career. A 3-time All-Star and one of the league's premier shot blockers from the Cleveland Cavaliers, Larry Nance. The sure-handed point guard ranks among the league leaders in assists, three-point shooting, and free-throw shooting. He supplies spark to the Cleveland Cavaliers' high-powered attack. Playing in his third NBA All-Star game, Mark Price. This versatile forward has been named the NBA's top 6 man for the past 2 seasons. Whether he starts or comes off the bench, he does it all for the Indiana Pacers. Playing in his first All-Star game, Detlef Schrempf. This electrifying forward has dazzled NBA fans for 11 seasons. A 7-time All-Star, a 2-time Gatorade Slam Dunk champion, and one of the most exciting players the league has ever seen. From the Atlanta Hawks, Dominique Wilkins. And now the starting lineup for the East All-Stars. At forward, one of the brightest young stars in the NBA. He's an All-Star and a starter in only his second NBA season, leading the Charlotte Hornets to their best record ever, the 1992 NBA Rookie of the Year, Larry Johnson. At the other forward is one of the NBA's best all-around players. Appearing in his third NBA All-Star game, his scoring, passing, rebounding, and defense helped the Chicago Bulls to 2 straight world championships, Scottie Pippen. At center is the first rookie to start in an All-Star game since 1985. Standing over 7 feet tall and weighing 300 pounds, he plays well beyond his 20 years. You know him simply as the Shaq. From the Orlando Magic, Shaquille O'Neal. Making his 12th consecutive All-Star game appearance as one of the most successful point guards in NBA history. He was the MVP of the 1990 NBA Finals, leading the Detroit Pistons to their second straight championship, Isaiah Thomas. And at the other guard, a 3-time NBA Most Valuable Player and 6-time scoring champion who holds the highest scoring average in the history of the All-Star game. The top vote-getter in the Miller Genuine Draft NBA All-Star, balloting for the 7th straight season. From the world champion Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan. And now, the Western Conference All-Star. The head coach is a man who has coached his team to the best record in the NBA in his first year on the bench. A 5-time All-Star in his playing days from the Phoenix Suns, Paul Westphal. The assistant coaches are Lionel Hollins and Scottie Robertson of the Suns, and the trainer is Don Sparks of the Utah Jazz. This young forward is having his best season ever and has helped his team become a force in the Midwest Division. A first-time All-Star representing the San Antonio Spurs, Sean Elliott. An exciting point guard whose trademark is a crossover dribble. This Golden State Warrior ignites the league's highest scoring offense. Playing in his third straight NBA All-Star game, Tim Hardaway. This 6'10" forward is making his first appearance in the All-Star game after 3 appearances in the Gatorade Slam Dunk Championship. One of the NBA's most exciting young superstars from the Seattle Supersonics, Shawn Kemp. This hard-nosed competitor is playing in his second straight NBA All-Star game. He's a threat whether driving to the basket or shooting from three-point range. One of the bright young stars of the Phoenix Suns, Dan Marley. This talented young forward is making his first appearance in the NBA All-Star game. Now in his fifth professional season, he's leading the team's quest for a second straight playoff berth. From the Los Angeles Clippers, Denny Manning. This veteran center leads the league in NBA in block shots and ranks among the top 10 in scoring and rebounding. Enjoying perhaps the finest season of his career, an 8-time All-Star from the Houston Rockets, Hakeem Olajuwon. This veteran guard is one of the league's top three-point shooters. He has dished out more assists and made more three-pointers than any player in Portland Trail Blazer history. Making his second All-Star appearance, Terry Porter. Also selected to the West Conference All-Star team by conference coaches, but unable to play due to injury, from the Golden State Warriors, Chris Mullin. And here today from the Sacramento Kings, Mitch Richmond. And now the starting lineup for the West All-Stars. At one guard, the NBA's leader in assists for the past 5 seasons, and the record holder for most assists in a single season, a 5-time All-Star, the consummate playmaker of the Utah Jazz, John Stockton. Also at guard, a veteran who's so smooth he's nicknamed the Glide. His graceful moves have entertained NBA fans for the past decade, making his 7th appearance in the NBA All-Star game from the Portland Trail Blazers, Clyde Drexler. At center, a 4-time All-Star who ranks among the league leaders in scoring, rebounding, and block shots. Nicknamed the Admiral, he's captained the San Antonio Spurs to prominence in the Midwest Division, David Robinson. At forward, this dynamo has the Suns rising in Phoenix after 8 great seasons in Philadelphia. The MVP of the 1991 NBA All-Star game, a 7-time All-Star, Charles Barkley. And at the other forward, a man who loves to drive to the basket or along the highway in his 18-wheeler. He's been among the NBA's top 5 in scoring and rebounding for 5 straight seasons. A 6-time All-Star and the game's MVP in 1989. From the Utah Jazz, the mailman, Karl Malone. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of our colors by the Utah Joint Armed Forces Color Guard. And now, to our record, we'll sing our national anthem, the group that first broke the record held by Elvis Presley for most weeks at the top of the record charts. Motown recording artist, Boys to Men.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the
to men. For the 43rd time, the best of the NBA ready to play before a Utah crowd undoubtedly cheering for their own Jazz stars, Stockton and Malone. Snow-packed Wasatch Mountains. What a glorious winter it is for the skiers. And here inside the state-of-the-art Delta Center, it'll be the east in blue and the west in white. Any feelings, Magic Johnson, as you heard all those colleagues of yours introduced?
Yeah, I look for just the tempo to be set by John Stockton and Isaiah Thomas to try to get the crowd involved. When I used to play in the game, Isaiah and I had determined before the game that we would make the pace fast to get the crowd going, get the game going quick, because the crowd don't want to see defense, they want to see offense.
So that's the reason why it took 10 minutes before we got to that first set play.
Exactly.
And we're underway, and they'll jump it over again as David Robinson and Shaquille O'Neal in the center circle. To the west, Barkley. Underneath, the Drexler. And out of bounds to the Eastern team. Isaiah Thomas, 12 years in the league, 12 times an All-Star. Stockton draws him. In the hole to O'Neal, who gets the first shot of the game and is fouled. Drexler gets the foul.
And big body steps in front of you down low. It's tough to stop Shaquille at 7'1", 308 pounds. If you give him that advantage of getting in the lane deep, that way you're in trouble.
And the thing on O'Neal is his body fat content. It's somewhere they say, some say 8%, some say 12%. Let's just take 10%. If that's true, 273 pounds of that man is muscle and bone. That's heavier than anyone else on either roster.
Well, and he also knows how to use it too. And he's mean and tough. That's what makes him so tough to guard.
O'Neal's free throws giving the East a 2-0 lead, and Robinson is fouled as he tries to go over O'Neal.
Well, the one thing, Magic, is there won't be many easy scores for the West team because Shaquille isn't worrying about personal fouls. He's going up trying to get everything this afternoon. Knows he's got Patrick Ewing behind him.
Exactly, and he also knows that this is his showcase. He wants to be involved in every play. It's like any first-timer in the All-Star game. They want to show the fans that they belong here and should be here.
Robinson gets 1 out of 2, and Larry Johnson with a rebound for the East. Thomas hurries it up to Pippen. Pippen with Barkley. Thomas and Stockton. Jordan and Drexler, a couple of dream teamers. 6 on the clock. Larry Johnson against Karl Malone with 2. Thomas doesn't beat the buzzer. No basket.
Magic, we probably should mention, in fairness to Isaiah, that in his last regular game before the break against Miami, he strained his Achilles tendon, was taken out of that game, did not return for Detroit. Doubtful whether he would play or not here.
Yeah, you know, I think he just wanted to play for the fans, and that's it.
Stockton for 3. And the home crowd loves that. West leads 4-2. Fall away from Johnson. Barkley collects the rebound. Almost stolen by Jordan. David Robinson. 6-2 the West.
See, that's one problem that Shaquille has. He says that when he doesn't really read the defense yet in terms of the player he has to play against. That time David Robinson can take him outside, so he's not used to that in college, a guy taking a 7-footer who can take jump shots.
Jordan with a move against Drexler, and Michael connects. There's an edge to Michael Jordan, and it goes back to the current events of the last week and a half. Karl Malone answers at the other end. Jordan not at all happy about the fine and the scrape that he had with the Pacers' Reggie Miller. Cost him nearly $50,000, and he was fined again for missing the media day 2 days ago here in Salt Lake City. Curious as to how he's going to play today, Mike Fratello.
Well, he could come out one of 2 ways. He could come out very determined to go after the MVP award to bring some of that spotlight back on himself. Or the other thing is, if he hung his head and said, hey, look, the NBA is going to find me this money. I'll just give a half-hearted effort. I don't think that's what Michael's all about.
He just makes the steal, tries to set up Thomas, and Thomas touched the ball last as Stockton hawking him down court.
Well, right here, that's that Patton Jordan move where he comes around you, steal it. But now, because Isaiah's hurt, he couldn't run that ball down. If that was Isaiah healthy, he would have ran that down and laid it in.
Barkley loses the handle, and it'll be the West still with the ball. Jordan making that steal, and that's right on cue. He leads the NBA in steals again this year.
He's a guy who basically can do what he wants to do in the NBA. When he sets his mind to something, whether it be steals, whether it be best defensive player in the league, as he has already been named, or scoring leader, Michael can get it done.
1 on the clock. Stockton misses everything, so the 24-second clock gives the ball to the East. 8-4, the West leads early in a game with a defensive pace which you don't always see in the All-Star Classic.
Well, it's a pace that, because there's not a lot of missed shots and turnovers so far, they haven't got the speed going yet. But here comes Michael Jordan. Oh, man. He slipped the defense, took it in, switched to the left hand. Oh.
Drexler answers at the other end. Live, like a live.
Here comes that pace we want.
You know, when Michael made the move, not only did he slip the defensive guy, but he had to push Larry Johnson, his screener, out of the way with his left arm so he could get to the basket.
Jack on the attack against Robinson. Boy, does he bump into Robinson. And Robinson with a block. Malone to Stockton. 4-2 for the West. Barkley!
Sir Charles with his first points.
But so far in the game, the pace is going right to West ways right now in the last minute or so. They picked up the pace, got some fast break layups.
4 minutes into the game, 12-6 West. Isaiah. Rebound Robinson. Stockton brings it up. Malone. All the West starters have scored. It's 14-6. This is how it began in Orlando last year for the West. And the Delta Center crowd loves it.
Michael Jordan playing the two-man game, slips the screen. Move out of the way, partner. I got to get to the basket on this one. And somehow, some way, the point guards know who's on their right and who's on their left. That's his teammate, the mailman, Karl Malone.
Barkley and the other 4 starters for the West today, all members of the U.S. Olympic team. And perhaps that an advantage for the West. You were at those practices in Monte Carlo, Magic, and they were something, weren't they?
Yeah, it was the best basketball I've ever been involved in. The greatest plays, the greatest passing, everything. And the West do have an advantage today because these guys know each other a little bit better than the East. And plus, they're getting out on the break, too.
And the West inheriting Charles Barkley from the 76ers. They haven't missed a shot yet, the West. 6 out of 6. Jordan the only field goals for the East, and Isaiah Thomas adds his name to the list. Stockton, the assist leader in the NBA the last 5 years and leading again this season. Malone's pass intercepted by Pippen, an all-defensive performer in the NBA.
That's one of the times that you'll see a set play come out of a timeout in an All-Star game. Unfortunately, it did not work.
Jordan thought he had to. Look at him hustle back. And he's able to destroy the pass to Drexler, out of bounds to the East.
Well, you don't really want to run a set play. What you want to do is just get in transition, and all the players have more fun when you're in transition in an All-Star game instead of set plays.
Jordan on a feed from Isaiah.
Give Isaiah credit that time because he told Michael to go back door, read it all the way, high lob, slam dunk.
It all happened because Drexler went over the top of the screen. Once Michael read it, he changed direction. The eye contact with Isaiah, there it was.
Stockton with 5 assists already. Drexler for 3. Be curious, Mike Fratello, when Pat Riley brings in Patrick Ewing, and will he bring him in for Shaquille?
Well, there's Shaquille with the jumper from the foul line area, and a little bit of controversy, maybe a misunderstanding. People had said that Riley was very upset with the fact that O'Neal was voted ahead of Ewing and that he made a statement that no way should that have happened. That's not what Pat Riley said. As John Stockton tries for the 3, what he actually said was he was asked to name his starting team. He put Ewing in there, as I would expect every head coach would do with his own player.
Basket counts, and the East on a run. They have scored now 8 unanswered points from that 14-6 timeout.
Clyde Drexler goes over the top of the screen. Michael Jordan changes direction on the money pass from Isaiah Thomas.
Foul was on Drexler, his second, as Jordan leading all scorers with 8 points. There's Patrick Ewing for Larry Johnson.
And as you might expect from Pat Riley, he's going to put both big men on the floor at the same time. Just have a little bit of fun with the media that was second guessing what would happen out there.
Team Olajuwon in as well. It's tied at 14. 6 minutes left in this first quarter. Ewing with the loose ball. Finds Thomas with 13. Isaiah. And the East leads for the first time since 2-0. A 10-0 run for the Eastern Stars.
You know, you really don't think there would be much passing, but give the East credit that time. They really moved the ball around until they got the open shot by Isaiah.
And it appears Shaquille O'Neal with his second foul. Just 20 years young, but you had a chance to test him out before the draft out in Los Angeles. You practiced with him many days.
Yes, and I was amazed. Then I came back telling everybody that he is really going to be something in this league, and he hasn't let me down one bit.
In the top 10 in 4 different categories offensively, and no other player can make that comment. Barkley for 3. Jordan loses it to Malone, who saves it for the West. Special delivery there for Karl off the leg of Jordan.
Both players hustling after it. The mailman gets to it first, saves it for the West team by throwing it off Michael.
10 unanswered points facing the West, who try for the tying goal. Hakeem Olajuwon of Houston, saved by Drexler. Hits the underside of the backboard, and it's O'Neal. Thomas calling out the shots. Patrick Ewing's first shot. Stockton the other way.
You really got an interesting matchup here with Mailman and Patrick Ewing.
And Ewing collects the missed shot from Karl Malone.
Let's go back to those early years for Patrick Ewing as Shaq goes up and sends it down.
Woo! Does he snap up there in a hurry? He is so quick for 303 pounds and driving toward the goal.
Well, here it's like a turnover, but Shaquille gets it, and he gets hit about 3 times and slam dunk. This guy is so strong, it's unbelievable.
Like BB's off a battleship.
Well, the first thing he does is come up with the basketball. There are a lot of players that have tough time handling passes in traffic. He finds the handle and then finishes.
13 unanswered points for the East, taking a 5-point lead. And a turnover, but a foul. Thomas against Karl Malone, and Malone won't shoot this one, but boy, certainly knows the way to the free throw line, doesn't he?
Well, Isaiah had no choice but to push him out of bounds, because if Karl had got the ball, he would no doubt have an easy layup over Isaiah.
Drexler playing with 3 personal fouls. No, they've now changed that foul to Stockton, the last one, so 2 on Drexler. Barkley loses the handle to Thomas. His first shot. O'Neal rebounds. Karl Malone. 4 rebounds for Malone. A drought for the West. Will Malone end it? Yes. 19-16. Oh, what a pass to Jordan.
And count it.
Who says that Thomas and Jordan don't get along?
You know, they've learned to get along.
You turn your head for a split second on defense. They're going to fire the ball right past you here. That time, the perfect pass by Isaiah on the money. Turn your back, turn your head. Jordan will get free. Isaiah will find him.
And Drexler with his 3rd foul. O'Neal goes out, and Brad Doherty replaces him.
You know, in a game like this, I don't care if you don't get along or not. You still play as a team. Isaiah's a great team player, so is Michael Jordan. They're going to play as a team. Even if they had differences before, they're going to come out here to win and have fun, and they're doing that right now.
And Jordan leading all scorers with 9. Dan Marley in for the first time now, the Phoenix Suns star. And Marley from Central Michigan hits his first attempt.
I know another guy sitting here from Central Michigan.
I thought I could slip that one in there without you noticing there, you. Michigan State Spartan.
Yes.
Thomas for 3. Rebound Doherty. Hook shot for Jordan. Elijah off balance, tipped by Malone. And Karl Malone leads the West with 8 points.
Probably should mention here that with this lineup on the floor, and it was with O'Neal also on the floor for the East, that Patrick Ewing is the power forward right now. Something he got used to when Bill Cartwright was in New York way back in the beginning.
Marley to Sean Elliott, broken up by Jordan. What a defensive play by Michael. Ewing knocking it away from Elijah.
Well, they come here, Marley on the high loud. Michael just, you know, he's so explosive off of 1 foot or 2 foot or 2 feet, and he can just do it all offensively and defensively.
World it is here in the Wasatch. Shaquille O'Neal, only the 14th rookie to start in the All-Star game. And the first, well, was in the very first game, 1951. A Celtic rookie, Bob Cousy, started for the winning E squad. The ball handling wizard playing before the home crowd. The first in a long line of Celtic greats to play in this All-Star Classic. The Cougs.
You know that the 3 youngest players to start in the All-Star game are in this building. Shaq being the 3rd, Isaiah being the 2nd, and who do you think was the youngest?
How about Irvin?
You got it right there.
Mark Price into the game. One of the 3 Cavaliers to make this All-Star game. The only team to send 3 here to Salt Lake City. Sean Elliott through a crowd. 4-on-1. Stockton. Malone. Who else from Stockton? Whether intended or not. 10 for the mailman.
And he also has 6 rebounds.
Dominique. Ewing. Elijah rejects. Ewing thought he was fouled.
Who said they don't play defense in All-Star games?
Elliott to break the tie. Ewing snaps the rebound. Jordan to Price on the runner. Stockton 2 men back. Marley for 3. Marley for 3. Reclaims the lead, 25-22.
We're going to have to hear about this magic. He keeps making those 3-pointers.
I know it.
The Traverse City Trey, they call it up there in his hometown.
All the Chippewa fans will be happy and excited.
Michael Jordan at the line. Jordan, the top vote getter once again here at the All-Star game, looking for his 10th point.
You're the only player to break 1 million, wasn't it? 1 million votes.
That's right. He was the only 1 million vote man. He works a lot in millions. He feels very comfortable. For the 7th consecutive year, Michael Jordan tallied the most votes in the Miller Genuine Draft All-Star Balloting Program. He will receive a $2,500 donation to the Michael Jordan Foundation from Miller Genuine Draft. Jordan misses both free throws. Joe Dumars in for the East. Stockton with Price, Elliott, and Dominique. Marley for 3 again. Brad Doherty the rebound to his teammate with the Cavs, Mark Price. Price won the 3-point shootout last night here for a $20,000 first prize. And Marley blocks it from the backside against Dominique.
Now, if you wonder here why the East is having so many problems scoring, first we'll look at the block shot here by Dan Marley. because you have Patrick Ewing and Brad Daugherty in at the same time, and both of them really are used to playing center instead of, now you got one at power forward instead of center.
Foul on Karl Malone. Michael Jordan given his first rest.
And so far, in fairness to the players, it's got to be a big foul for that whistle to go off. Those little fouls, forget about it. You got no chance.
Not in All-Star games. You can forget that.
Bill Russell, the great Celtic. When did he win? Something like 5 NBA titles after he was 30 years old. And Oscar Robertson. Many would say the greatest of all time. He's going to get some votes.
No question. The triple-double man who first started the triple-doubles.
And of all the players in this game, when they ask who was their idol as a kid, that man, Julius Erving, Dr. J, one after another after another. I asked Julius, well, who was your idol? He said, Bill.
Well, he's still the most popular player in terms of retired player there is out here. And Bill Russell was everybody's idol because he won so many championships.
2-point West lead. Elliott knocks it away from Wilkins.
You know, Matt, I'm starting to agree with you. Forget the set plays, because every time you run one, the defensive team either steals it or knocks it out of bounds. Can't get a score off a set play.
Because the players run into each other, basically. They, you know, most of these players, the fans don't understand. Most, or I should say, all these players are used to having the ball where they like it. In an All-Star game, you don't get that opportunity.
Final seconds of this first quarter. No backcourt violation. 1 second on the clock, and Malone blocked by Dominique.
That's unfair.
Yeah.
To have Dominique know that there's 1 second left. He leaves his feet. He's in the air. He hangs in for a couple of seconds and then just stuffs the ball back down at you.
Stockton with a steal. Marley right back to Stockton, who gives to his teammate Malone.
And he does the behind the head slam dunk.
Joe Dumars quietly having another great season with the Pistons. Dumars great at both ends of the court. Dominique for 3. And that pulls the East within 1.
Dominique has really been shooting the ball well since he came back from the broken hand. He's shooting almost 37% from the three-point line this season.
Time running out in this first quarter. Marley forcing a shot. Daugherty hears the buzzer sound, and the end of an entertaining first period here at the Delta Center. And of course, the hero, the home man, and with the crowd cheering you on, often that helps you to get that MVP award. Karl Malone missed only 1 shot in the quarter. 12 for the first period. To Salt Lake City, in-your-face basketball. The Hornets mascot, the man of teal. A new wrinkle on the entertainment between periods.
You thought if I ever tried to get up there, I would probably break my neck. I never could fly as a player.
Didn't need to. 27-26 as we open this second quarter. The West leading the East.
Perfect example of what Magic mentioned a while ago. The players understanding each other, knowing where they're going to get the ball, when they're going to get it. Price wanted to wait a little bit longer to throw the pass. Meek waited for it a step early. The ball goes out of bounds.
Tim Hardaway into the game, sets up Danny Manning. The LA Clippers. Manning, his first basket. Dumars hanging and feeding Daugherty. His stuff is blocked by Sean Kemp. Ahmad Rashad is with us on the sidelines.
All right, hey, Michael, now wait a minute. This is the tempo here. 3 shot clock violations in the first quarter in the All-Star game?
Well, you can see some defense being played. I mean, we didn't want to come out and let it be a run and gun type of thing. We wanted to play some type of defense.
Well, you expect to speed it up a little bit, I guess, as the game goes on?
It will. As we get tired, it'll speed up a little bit.
You having fun?
Oh, yeah, so far I'm having a great time.
All right, thanks, Ben. Back to you, Dick.
That's interesting, Match, because you get tired, then you speed up the game.
Well, he kind of said they wanted to play defense.
Where'd that come from now?
Yeah,
Look who's overcoaching that team. Where'd that come from?
That's Pat Riley over there.
Brad Daugherty makes it 29-27. Riley in his 9th NBA All-Star game as the head coach. Sean Elliott, one of the Spurs stars, and it's out of bounds to the East.
I think the West is doing a better job of opening the floor up and getting easier shots in the East.
Ewing bumped bumping into Kemp and then hitting the fall-away jumper. And the foul on Kemp, who has picked up 2 quick ones.
One of the few times that Patrick Ewing has not seen a double team, so he figures, hey, I'm all alone. Let me take advantage of this one.
But, Coach, he's at a disadvantage, Sean Kemp, trying to guard a big center and Patrick Ewing. That's the problem that they have now because you have Doherty and Ewing in, and the West can't match up defensively.
Gotta get that coach to put somebody else in the game. If you can't play him, we'll have to put somebody else in.
East with the lead by 1 as Hardaway on the drive to Manning. 2 for 2. 31-30 the West.
As you see, they just ran the same play again, back-to-back, and it worked.
Doherty, Price, Dumars.
I got it.
And out comes Hardaway. Marley on the side. That was Kemp up high for the rebound, but swept away by the East. Price, this is what he did last night, and he misses. Well, he didn't do that. He hit everything last night when it counted for $20,000. Hardaway has his pass deflected out of bounds. Right to Riley.
His arm's probably tired now, as many as he hit last night.
Detlef Schrempf of the Indiana Pacers, his first All-Star game and the first European to play in this All-Star Classic, being televised and broadcast around the world. Kemp with a quick move. He's had a very painful right thumb. You saw him try to use the left hand there, and a foul. I believe Schrempf got Elliott going in. It's intriguing to hear the many languages at the media day, and Romania television carrying this event. That was Nadia Comaneci. You could tell with a 10 on her back. She wears number 10 very nicely, doesn't she? Good to see the great Olympic gymnastic champion.
This is probably one of the only, I think, sporting events in terms of professional sports that has media from all over the world at an All-Star game. You don't see that at the Pro Bowl or different other All-Star games.
And you're going to Finland, I read, in May, back to my dad's home country.
Yeah, I'll put on an exhibition over there and take some NBA players with me. It'll be fun.
Need a coach?
You need an announcer. I'd like to go back to Helsinki. 32-30, the West. Hardaway of Golden State, and he's fouled. 9:52 left in this first half. Back and forth it's gone, and the West here in Salt Lake City lead by a basket. Welcome back, and just blocks away from the Delta Center is the Jazz former home, the Salt Palace. And the last 4 days, the NBA Jam session has been held. The NBA's first ever interactive fan event includes 3-on-3 tournaments. And for those aspiring Marv Alberts, a chance to call some of the NBA's great moments. Yes. I'm allowed one of those, he said. I could use that one time.
Just one.
That was quite a setup. You talk about participation from within the community, trying to get people involved. They certainly did it with families coming in droves. Unfortunately, they had to work their way through a little bit of snow yesterday, but they got there.
Yeah, you know, it worked for all kids. No, I wouldn't just say kids, but for everybody. It was something there for everybody, and Utah community really came out, and they should be thanked for what they've done for this All-Star weekend.
Hardaway becomes the 16th player to score, and it's a 4-point West advantage. Dumars in the give and go to Doherty. A little pick and roll, and Doherty and Dumars as if they've been practicing that for years.
Well, we talk about slipping the screen. Go to the basket before the ball comes over the top of the screen. When you feel your defensive man cheating out a little bit, slip it, go to the basket to perfection that time.
Manning around Dominique. 6 points for Manning.
That was just one-on-one. You against me. And Manning just took him.
Little double team, Elliott and Manning on Dominique, and in comes Larry Nance for the first time.
Pick and roll. When the man comes over to set the screen, go to the basket before the ball comes over the top, and you get an easy score if your guard knows how to deliver the pass.
Price with Hardaway, Nance just in. Third Cavalier to play today, and from outside, Joe Dumars with his first bucket.
Dumars had lost 8 pounds about a week and a half ago. In fact, even missed the game for the Detroit Pistons. Had a touch of the flu, has gained about 4 of those back, so he's feeling a little bit better.
Elliott with 10 on the clock. Kemp. Doherty with a rebound. East looking for a tie or the lead. Dumars gives them the lead with a tray. 37-36 East.
That's patented George Dumars. He makes one, he might come down and hit the next 5 now.
Hardaway misses the 3. Schrempf batted it out. It's Price on the run to Dumars. Want another? Short this time. Marley rebounds.
Well, you called it. That's how he likes to play the game. And, you know, shooting over 33% is good from the three-point line. He's shooting 40% for the season from the three-point line.
Drazen Petrovic has been the big man in the NBA in the three-point range this year. Didn't quite make it. Steve Jones, the snapper, has been visiting.
All right, I'm going to speak over with Karl Malone. A lot of structure and a lot of defense. Are you surprised by that at this early?
Well, we talked about it a little bit in the West locker room. We would play a little defense. We didn't know we was going to play that much. But I think we're really doing the things well, offense and defense. And the guys really playing hard. We want to win. That's the main thing.
You got it. They want to win. We'll find out whether that happens.
Hardaway gets away with it. Contact on Price, and then the whistle in the lane.
But did you see him after the contact put that move on? Contact here, but watch the move he puts on Dan Marley as he Shrimps. I'm sorry, as he runs out and he grabs him as he goes past him. He's head and shoulder. Oh man, he can really dribble that basketball.
Porter takes it to the goal and has his first points. Terry Porter of Portland.
Porter looked over here and said, I can't believe I didn't get a whistle on that one.
Schrempf. And another foul at the other end. We've had more whistles in less than a half than all last year in Orlando. That was kind of a go-get-'em game for Magic, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, the game was different because the pace was quicker than the game is now. What happens is if the game is a slow game, with all these big bodies you have out here, there's going to be a lot of fouls called. If the game is a fast game, then the referee let a lot of fouls go and just let you play.
Germany's Schrempf, he says he gets mail in the Cleveland or the Indianapolis area. Carmel he lives, and then his fans in Germany send all his mail to his folks up near Cologne, so he gets double bags of mail each month. Fans in Germany asking for autographs and pictures just as the kids do here in the U.S.
Speaking of Douglas, fans are just now appreciating his ability right now.
Price to Dumars, to Schrempf, knocked away by Elliott, last touch by Schrempf. Game tied at 38, 7:15 left in the first half. The Spurs Elliott off the mark. Dumars to Nance, and the veteran Larry Nance, oldest in the game at 34. Porter with a 3. And Schrempf intercepts. Dumars. Manning. Both teams a little cold at the moment. Elliott trying to break the tie. Kemp.
Well, right now, the fans need something to happen to get them back into the game. Maybe it's the Utah Jazz guys coming back in or something. We need something, a spectacular dunk, something.
Then you had the block shot by Larry Nance, the #1 shot blocking forward in NBA history.
Still tied at 38. 6 minutes to go in the first half. Hardaway, another miss. Schrempf with Porter back. There it is. Price the assist, and Detlef Schrempf gives the East the lead, 40-38. 5:55 left in this first half.
Well, Magic called it out. He said they had to do something to get the fans a little bit involved. First, you get the behind-the-back pass, then the lob right back to the big man, the catch, and the finish. They like it.
Game in Philadelphia. Lucky number 13, Wilt Chamberlain. He was a rookie. 23 points, 25 rebounds, and named the game's MVP. One of 14 rookies to start in the All-Star game, Wilt Chamberlain. And there's rookie Shaquille O'Neal back into the game for the East. The Orlando Magic will see them against the red-hot San Antonio Spurs next Sunday here on NBC. Hardaway, a little hesitation, and that opened up things for David Robinson. 42-40 the East.
And you didn't get to see the back pick that Terry Porter put on Shaquille O'Neal. That's what opened that whole lane up, and for the dunk shot for David Robinson.
Porter deflects the ball, and stays after it. Finally, it's Dumars. So the Piston backcourt of Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, hits the shot clock out of bounds to the west. It's Kemp, Hardaway, Robinson, Danny Manning, and Terry Porter for the West as they go on the attack, down by 2. Hardaway to Robinson.
Again, the back pick takes place almost that time.
O'Neal brings it up. He's open.
He told us yesterday he loves to play guard, to bring it down, show people that he can cross over like Tim Hardaway. He can do what Michael can do, and he showed us everything that time on that drive and dunk.
9 points for the rookie O'Neal. Oh, he has made the Orlando Magic indeed. Robinson, star from the U.S. Naval Academy, showing he can hit inside and outside. Larry Nance answers at the other end.
Hasn't he gotten better with age?
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. Playing his best basketball.
Yes. Playing unbelievable this season.
Basketball, one of his 2 loves, Larry Nance. Robinson. The other being drag racing, has his own dragster.
Well, let's go back to the big point guard. I thought Magic was a big point guard, but wait a minute. When this guy gets a hold of it and decides that he wants to lead a fast break, I don't know what we're going to do with the NBA. He gives it up, and then he keeps on running. And Larry Nance was nice. He waited for the big guy to get underneath, gave it right back to him for the score.
Wearing the right number, too, 32, Magic.
That's right. All right. There you go. He's also got the right contract, $40 million. He's doing it all.
That's not even scratching the endorsement page, is it?
You got that right.
Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley are back in. East by 2, 46-44. Jordan stolen by Hardaway and fouled by Jordan.
I think we should point out to the fans where here on this play you see Tim Hardaway. They come over for a pick and roll, and Tim just darts in on Michael. He wasn't expecting Tim to dart in on him and defense him, and he ends up with the steal and grabs him. But Michael is not really, he doesn't want to pick and roll. He'd rather for the spread the court, get it where he can take the man. So right now it's too many people in his way.
And you can bet as soon as someone does that, takes the ball from Jordan, he's going to brace himself to do something special. The pride in this athlete, if you're going to scale it 0 to 10, I don't know how high above 10 you can put Jordan's pride.
Oh, it's that's why he's in a class by himself. Just put it like that.
Tim Hardaway, a point away from tying it up for the West. Warriors, one of the disappointing teams thus far in 92-93, but only 4 back of the Clippers for the 8th spot in the West.
Kind of forget that the Warriors won 57 games a year ago, but really hit with injuries.
Yeah.
Owen's out, Marciulionis doesn't come back till late, and now with Chris Mullin out also, they've had their problems.
Jordan. Shrimp touched it last, so it's the West going the other way. Calvin Murphy on his way to the Hall of Fame. Congratulations, the 5'9" star. Did he play big? Walt Bellamy, the big bell goes in as well this year. Dick McGuire, John Wooden.
I'll tell you, that guy's the toughest guy that you've ever want to deal with. Calvin Murphy.
Oh, I thought you were talking about these guys on Wayne's World. You're not talking about them?
Oh,
well, let me tell you about them. Tonight, you better get ready, Magic. Mike, party with Wayne and Garth. Saturday Night Live primetime special. 2 weekly cable hosts from Aurora, Illinois bring you the 18 years of truly excellent music and comedy. Bruce Springsteen, Whitney Houston, Eric Clapton, Nirvana, R.E.M., Eddie Murphy, Steve Martin, Bill Murray, and more. Excellent. Isn't that what you're supposed to say? Something like that.
There you go.
That's tonight, right?
Yes, tonight. Music, a go-go, a 2-hour special tonight on NBC.
Couldn't have said it better. Tied at 46 with 3:45 to go in the half. Barkley moving Shrimp back. Kemp can't jam the rebound, and it's Shrimp the other way. Isaiah Thomas to O'Neal, and denied. Kemp and Robinson sandwiching the Shaq.
Sean Kemp almost got the crowd off their seats by trying to follow this one back up. Couldn't quite get control. But coming off the timeout, this was planned. Spin, throw it up in the air, I'll go get it, Isaiah. Shaq just can't convert.
Well, on most players, Sean Kemp would have knocked that away. But he couldn't knock it away from Shaquille because he's so strong. He took Sean Kemp with him and still had an attempt at the basket.
O'Neal still working on his free throw stroke. He's shooting just under 59% for the year as Kemp goes out. But if O'Neal makes this one, Shaq will be the leading scorer in the East with 10.
Matt, isn't it true that so many rookies come in the league and struggle from the foul line during their first season?
No question about it, because I struggled myself at about 72 or 4%.
Dominique Wilkins, okay, shot at 68% his first season from the foul line. Eventually, then an 80% shooter year after year. So it's just
why is that, Mike?
Why? It could be. I don't know. Maybe a little bit of nervousness out there on the floor for the rookie.
Jordan started this, and Isaiah throws it off the backboard blindly. Porter to Hardaway. And the West leads by 1.
I know one thing that contribute to a lot of missed field goals, free throws as a rookie, is the fact that you never shot that many or played that many games and you retired.
Barkley to Robinson. A Sun to a Spur, and it's 50-47 West.
Also, Magic, so many of the rookies don't really get a chance to come in and start, so they're either coming off the bench where they're cold when they get fouled. They're not really into the game yet. So that's another factor as far as why they don't shoot as well in that first year.
Pippen to Shaq. Oh, he shows great hands to just catch that ball, and then it takes a mighty bump from Barkley to deny.
Charles decides that he's going to give us a little lefty version of the long touchdown pass. Throws it all the way out in front, leading his teammate.
Now Barkley against Shaq at the other end.
Well, here is just strength against strength. And Charles said, get it out of here, young fella.
Back to the Delta Center, and here's the quick feet of a 303-pound, 20-year-old athlete, Shaquille O'Neal. Now, Bill Walton, who knows a little bit about playing down in the hole, has analyzed the half of Shaq. Professor Walton will offer his report card at halftime, and will be allowed into the West locker room. Paul Westphal will let us eavesdrop on what he says to his team. I'm sure it'll be a dynamic halftime pep talk, a Newt Rockne here in this All-Star Classic.
I tell you what, Bill Walton's pretty tough giving grades out.
Real tough, so watch out.
Manning unable to handle the pass.
We should point out here that neither John Stockton or Karl Malone has played in the second quarter, so maybe Paul Westphal is looking for them to play a lot in the second half to get this crowd going and try to win the game.
Robinson with a rebound. Here comes the West, leading by 2, 50-48. Porter, Hardaway, Robinson, Barkley, and Manning for the West. Jordan and Pippen, 2 Bulls on the floor with O'Neal, Nance, and Isaiah. Robinson banks in another. David Robinson, 13 points to lead all scores.
And just to clarify, I don't think he's made a mistake. I think this is a strategy by Paul Westphal to do this because he wants the crowd on his side going in that third, fourth quarter, especially the fourth quarter.
Porter hawking Michael. And the foul. Back to Paul Westphal. I asked him, what worries you most about coaching in this game? He said, I hope I'm brave enough to have Stockton and Malone on the bench at the same time. Well, he's shown that, but I think, Magic, you hit on a very key point, that he also would like to see them do well in front of this Delta Center crowd. We might see a lot of them in the second half. There's Westfall, 5 times an All-Star. He was a #1 draft pick out of the University of Southern California, as Pat Riley was a #1 draft pick out of Kentucky.
Well, Paul Westphal taught me a valuable lesson. He was one of the 3 players that taught me that I couldn't play defense in the NBA as a rookie. I went up against World Beat Free my first game. He had 46. Paul Westphal came around the next game. He had 38, and George Gervin had 40 the third game.
So bring on Magic Johnson. I kind of like this young guy from Michigan State.
I called my dad. I said, Dad, it's going to be a long season in the NBA for me.
And I guess that's probably pretty true, isn't it? That's the defense adjustment that is tougher rather than the offense for a star coming out of college.
Yes, it's for all of us. Even Shaquille is having a hard time.
Terry Porter, who was one of those away from winning the prize last night in the shootout against Mark Price. And that is a big lead for the West as this game is seesaw 55-50. A minute and a second to go.
You know, there's been a lot of knockaways down up under the hoop when a power player has gotten it. Some guard has always gone down there and knocked the ball out of his hand before he could get it up.
Jordan. Fall. And it's Danny Manning scrabbling with Larry Johnson. Barkley waiting for Manning to break, and he said, "That's right, you're with the Clippers."
Oops, my fault. I forgot. That's what Charles was telling me. My fault.
Thomas actually passing off the backboard. He was trying to pass to Shaquille on the carom. Hardaway to Barkley. He can't hit. Thomas, a straight down court. Robinson. Jordan. Manning with 18 seconds to go in the half, and the West leading by 5. Jordan gets the foul.
Let's go back a second ago. Charles Barkley is looking to the middle of the floor, but he knows that his teammate's going to go, except Charles thinks he's going to continue to go to the basket, but instead his teammate Manning pulls up short. The ball goes out of bounds.
And you know what? Looking at that, that was a good decision by Charles, thinking that he was going to go all the way because there was no defense back there.
Hey, wait a minute. Carl Lewis couldn't have got there that fast where that pass was headed. Hardaway at the line.
We won't talk about Mr. Lewis as far as on that national anthem. Did you see that?
No, I missed that, but I know you didn't stop laughing for a couple of weeks.
Oh, man.
I'm going to have to get the tape.
Yes. You have to see that one.
Tim Hardaway with a deuce, and it's 57-50 for the West. 8 points for Hardaway. And he goes after Isaiah Thomas.
Well, he thought he had to steal, and there are two probably the greatest ball handlers that's ever played this game.
Wait a minute. These two, Hardaway and Isaiah Thomas, you're taking yourself out of there?
Well, I'm a different type of ball handler. I'm a straight up. You know, Tim Hardaway got his crossover dribble from Isaiah. Isaiah is probably the best ball handler I've ever seen in my life. He puts on clinics in the summer. He can really put a show on for campers around the country. And I'm sure that Tim will tell you that a lot of his skills came from watching Isaiah.
Well, Larry Johnson saving the second miss from Isaiah, and Shaq has 13. Last shot of the half. Tipped in.
Oh, what a play.
Danny Manning. That's the most spectacular of the spectacular of the first half. Manning at the final second, guiding that one home.
Well, Larry Johnson said that his was a pass to Shaq at the one end, so why shouldn't we at the other end have the same thing happen? Get it up there as the buzzer goes off. Is it going to go in? No, it's just a pass to my teammate if he'll just tip it in for me.
Beautiful.
And the West with a shot by Manning. 59-52 at the intermission. Terry Porter with a tough assist. Oh, much ahead. We'll go into the locker room of the West when we come back.
Fratello?
At first, the officials said good, then they said it was no good. The area to look is right in here. There's a red light that's supposed to help the official. If it was touched by Manning before the light went off, then the basket should count. Touched, light goes off, count that basket.
But officially, it does not count, and the score then is 57-52.
From behind, the shot attempt, the last-second tip by Danny Manning. The light had not gone off before Manning touched it, therefore the basket should count.
All right, let's go back to Bob Costas.
All right, Dick, thanks a lot. Quickly, we're going to check in on the West chalk talk, such as it is in an all-star game. Let's listen in on Paul Westphal.
Pops back here, and on the weak side, 4-man will pick down for the 3-man there, and the point guard just has his choice of all that. So when we run the 5, especially against Shaquille, we'll run it that way. And you guys are running all this stuff good. All I would say is just play your game. Keep playing your game. Get back on defense and make it come outside. And hopefully, somebody besides Shaquille will get a call in this game. This is Utah. Have you shot a free throw yet?
No, this shot was passed. It's all side, never passed.
Must have slipped. Okay.
You got the 4 starters plus Hakeem now.
All right, the 4 starters plus Hakeem starting the third quarter.
Okay.
Is there anything that you guys are having particular trouble with defensively that we need to talk about? I think we're covering it pretty good. Don't be afraid to switch.
To switch, and don't be afraid to go double Michael, okay?
Now, what happened one time is Michael was isolated over here, and who was it, Terry or Clyde was caught on him, and Isaiah or Price was up here, and so there was nobody here. They had 3 guys over here. So this guy here, I think it was Tim, was afraid to go because Price had knocked this in. You guys over here have to be dropped and be talking to this guy. And we don't want Michael to just take his time and go baseline and get to the line. But you have to tell him it's okay to go, because if he goes, we got to cover the first pass out of the double team. You know, we just don't want one pass and the 3-pointer.
The other guys can go. Go. Use your judgment. The talk on.
Okay. How much time? 9 minutes.
Sort of on the low-key side, when the folks at home were able to hear Paul Westphal perfectly. We are hearing him in one ear and all the bedlam in the background here at the Delta Center, so it was difficult for us to hear, but obviously a low-key talk. He has played in 5 of these games when he was an active player and an all-star himself, and he realizes that you don't go overboard on strategy in an all-star game.
Well, that's absolutely the case. See, right here, these guys are too good to try to overcoach. What you want to do is put them in position. They're good enough athletes to win the games. Now, we've had a lot of new players. We got 6 new faces on the court, but you got a new coach. This is the first time Westy has coached in this game, so he's learning this a little bit. The real lull came when the 5 players on the Western team were playing together. You do that, and it's hard to get continuity because they haven't played with each other, and they haven't played in an all-star game before.
Just a quick name that tune. Who would that be in the background? It's Great Gosh Almighty.
I don't know.
I hate to put you on the spot.
Oh,
like this.
You got me. You got
Little Richard, you can get even in the postgame show. When we come back, Bill Walton joins us as we analyze the performance this evening. That's after a message from Prudential and a word from the NBA. The West leads it at the half, 57-52. These are the numbers on Shaquille O'Neal: 13 points, 4 rebounds, no blocks. Bill Walton here to analyze his play.
Yes, Bob, there's 3 rules about success for big men in basketball games, all-star games like this, which are different than any other game. The first one is don't play team defense. The second rule, don't run back on defense at all. And paramount, don't take the ball out of bounds. Shaquille O'Neal, an incredible learner. He's progressing at a remarkable rate in this game. He's doing a fine job.
So clearly these rules are designed to maximize team play rather than individual success.
Not team play at all, but your ability to get into the flow. These guards, they don't want to pass you the ball anyway. They get in a situation where their coach is not here. They're shooting the threes all the time. The big men, they've got to assert themselves and make their own plays happen. Nobody's helping them today.
Here's a look at Shaquille.
O'Neal showing that he can shoot the outside jumper, something that he's going to have to learn how to do on a consistent basis. That 15-foot perimeter jump shot, why coach wouldn't maybe play the high post. His running on the break, his ability with the hands to pick up the ball and finish strongly with the power game. His offensive rebounding ability over Karl Malone. That man is 6'11", 270 pounds. Karl Malone just pushes him around like a toothpick. Shaquille O'Neal will get burned on defense here, but then, like all big men are supposed to do, will power dribble out to start the fast break, give it up quickly to a wide open guard, and then get in the lane, post up, and power finish. Here Shaquille O'Neal will power dunk over Charles Barkley. That's why I believe that you have to have finesse moves underneath the basket. A little jump hook there, a little finger roll like Wilt the Stilt used to use. That will serve Shaquille O'Neal quite nicely as his career progresses.
Now, we've critiqued his play on regular season broadcasts, but we have to assume a lot of people are watching the All-Star game who didn't hear those comments. Obviously, if he doesn't get any better, he's already an All-Star. But what 2 or 3 things are the most obvious areas where he must improve?
Where Shaquille O'Neal has to improve is on his footwork. I believe that he takes steps far too often. He needs to get a disciplined and organized offensive game. He also needs to take better position on the defensive end of the court to deny position to his opponents. And I believe that he will improve his conditioning through taking better care of himself through weight training and through proper diet. And those are the areas where Shaquille O'Neal can really gain more of an edge that he already has.
Bill, thanks a lot. And our halftime activities from the NBA All-Star Game will continue right after these messages from your local station.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the Prudential. In a changing world, one thing remains rock solid: the Prudential.
Halftime of the NBA All-Star Game, and while the marching bands entertain, we're going to be analyzing all the action.
Basketball game. There's no marching band.
Be that as may, Jerry, the action out in the field so far pretty exciting.
Not a field. It's a court.
Nevertheless, I'm surprised at how the North really taking it to the South.
I'm
this kind of
surprised
action,
too, Jay, since it's the East versus the West.
Okay, but I gotta say that Shaquilla, he's one of the finest point guards I've ever seen.
Shaquille, and he's a center.
At any event, I'm looking forward to the second period.
Half! It's a half!
Look, if you know so much, why don't you just take over?
I would, but we're out of time. Back to you, Brent.
Very, very nice. Well, a certain standard of excellence has been established there. Let's see if Dick Enberg, Mike Fratello, and Magic Johnson can match it in the second half. Back to that trio courtside. Dick?
All right, Bob. We talked about minutes and potential MVP. Let's go to the way the coaches distributed time playing in the first half.
A little different approach. Pat Riley went with his starters more here in the first half. Paul Westphal went with his subs more in the first half, which means, like you said, he'll probably go with those starters a lot down the back stretch.
And Malone and Stockton, 2 potential MVPs, which would please the Utah crowd, should see a lot of action, as you hinted, Magic. And how about Shaq versus Michael Jordan? They're 1-2 in scoring for the East.
Well, they're about even right now, but with Shaq getting a lot of crowd-pleasing dunks. But look for both of them to come out here and try to win the MVP and put on a show for the crowd.
It's 57-52. The West leading the East, trying to repeat last year's win at Orlando. The second half is coming up. Temple in the background. This is the place, Brigham Young said. Salt Lake City, Utah. And it's the place today for the best in basketball, the world's best. 57-52, the West leading the East as we start the second half.
Let's see if the East gets the forwards a little bit more involved between Pippen and Johnson. Just 2 points in the first half.
Isaiah on the drive. 57-54, 6 points for the Detroit Piston veteran.
Well, that was a good throw. Inside, outside, back in, and back out. And Isaiah decided to take it down the lane because his man had double teaming the postman.
Both teams shot 50% in the first half. Elijah Wan to Drexler. It's Drexler, Elijah Wan, Karl Malone, Stockton, and Barkley. Barkley makes the deflection. Pippen, Shaq, Isaiah, Johnson, and Michael Jordan for the East. Michael. Elijah Wan loses it to Shaq. Give and go. Jordan and Shaquille. And a foul. He really is worn for a 20-year-old youngster. He's worn all the acclaim, I think, very well, Magic.
Yes, he has. And, you know, here you see offensive rebound by Shaq. And he got fouled. But he really has. You know, he's so mature and he's having so much fun. He hasn't let all this fanfare get him down. That was a good jump shot right there by Isaiah, shooting over the smaller John Stockton.
Isaiah with a couple of baskets to pull the East within one, and Stockton looking for Barkley. And it's Pippen beating everyone down court. And to follow, Larry Johnson of the Charlotte Hornets, his first points.
Larry Grandmama Johnson.
Keeping that Johnson name going. It's 1-7 left in the NBA. Surname Johnson since Magic retired. A 22nd timeout.
Looked like Scottie might have heard a few footsteps here, thinking that Charles might be going up for the blocks. He just kind of lays it up there, gets out of the way, and lets Larry follow.
Well, I tell you, you know, in all the All-Star games that I played in, the big men really didn't get involved because it was a fast-paced game. And the reason the big men are involved today is because the pace is slower. And when the pace is slower, that means big men tend to take over, and there's a lot of set plays. So if the pace does not pick up, you can look for Shaquille and the other big men to really have big games here.
Well, at halftime, what a difference between the front lines. 27-15, the West front line outscoring the East front line.
Karl Malone with his power move. Mailman gives the West the lead, 59-58. He has 14 points. Oh, nice piece of dribbling by Thomas. That's what you said you admired so much, Magic.
Well, I told you that Tim Hardaway got his crossover from Isaiah, and Isaiah just proved me right. He did a crossover move right there on John Stockton that just, he thought he was going to his left, and he went to his right. Great move.
Pippen short on the tray attempt. Olajuwon. What a year he's having in Houston. Stockton, the no-look to Drexler, and then Drexler knocks it away from Pippen. Barry Sanders, a Detroit Lions running star, Oklahoma State. West by 1, 9:36 left in the third, and Michael Jordan with an easy 2.
He just left 3 defensive guys standing still. The one that got picked off on the screen, the other 2 that tried to stop him on that move.
Well, here it is right here. Pick and roll. Crossover on you. I'm going to the left, switch. Oh, what can you say? Michael Jordan at his best. This is the kind of games that he loved to play. And here he comes again. Michael Jordan, back-to-back hoops. Uh-oh, he might make my prediction right. He's warming up.
He's got 15 to lead all scores. Stockton inside to Barkley, knocked away by you bet. And then Jordan to Pippen. Back to Pippen. Jordan sitting out in three-point range, but elected to go back to Pippen. 12 on the clock. To O'Neal, and it's Olajuwon with a steal. 2-on-1. The Jazz. Stockton to Malone, and a foul.
Magic, you know what happened? Michael Jordan's been lobbing to Bill Cartwright. He didn't realize that with the Shaq. You can get it way up in the air. Michael doing a little work at the defensive end, just tippy toes and stays inbound so he can get that break going for the East team.
Karl Malone's first free throw. He's not accustomed to going to the line for the first time in the second half. He has more than 100 more attempts than anyone else in the league again this year.
You know, the thing about Michael is that he's even beautiful to watch when he's playing defense. And most guys are not good to watch when you're playing defense.
Magic, what does Karl Malone say to himself just before he shoots the free throw? He's got a little something. Has anybody ever found out what it is? He won't tell, but he's got a little saying he does. There it is. He didn't whisper in your ear, did he?
I think he's rehearsing his lines. You know, he's going to be a movie star. He's involved in a couple of movies. One that's going to premiere here tomorrow night in Salt Lake City.
Well, that's what the NBA has gotten to now. You can get involved in other things besides basketball if you're a great player.
Olajuwon with a block. Marley on the run.
Beautiful up and under move. Beautiful move.
And the West back in front by 1. Marley on Thomas. Jordan getting away from Stockton. That's a mismatch. And it's blocked by Marley. Stockton surprising Elijah Wan. It goes to Malone. Shaq bringing it up. All the way! And he is fouled.
Well, let's go back a moment ago to the block by Akeem under the basket, which led to the easy score. No easy ones, which will lead to fast break scoring opportunities for your man, Dan Marley, in with the score on the reverse.
Shaquille O'Neal, 5 for 8 today, and you don't see Jordan rejected often.
But just good help defense that time by Dan Marley. You know, he's one of those players that just give you a little bit of everything. And
yeah, statistically, you look at the numbers of the 24 players in this game, he probably has the least impressive statistics, but you don't measure hustle and defense and the numbers that are sent out by the league each week.
Well, he's not here because of his stats. He's here because of his hustle and what he gives the team.
Stockton to Barkley. In fact, as Barkley makes that, Westfall said that Barkley fits in with the team because of guys on the Suns like Marley, and he said tough guys, Mark West, Marley, Barkley, they understand Charles' style.
Exactly. And, you know, they let him beat Charles Barkley. But also, if he gets out of hand, you got veterans like Danny Ainge who can bring him back to say, look, Charles, come on now. You haven't won any championships. Danny can say, I've won a couple.
That was Elijah Wan's first points. Now Elijah Wan trying to defend O'Neal, and Malone comes over, and Pippen with a rebound.
And a slam dunk to tell him, look, you may have blocked O'Neal's, but don't try to block mine.
Yeah, to all the veteran guys look like they want to get a little piece of this rookie every time he tries to go up and throw one down.
Yeah.
Stockton to his buddy Malone, and a reach-in foul on Pippen. That was quite a sequence at the other end.
Well, it looks like after the fake, he's going to step through and dunk it, but the mailman says, nope, not now, rookie.
Pippen says, maybe it's my time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my. It was a little after 6 Mountain Time. Tomorrow night at this time, Rockwell, a movie about a frontier scout, premieres. Karl Malone's in it.
Elijah Abel? So that's how you got to be an undertaker. Makes sense. Create your own business.
Man, can he deliver a line?
Oh, man, he was sensational.
From mailman to undertaker.
That's the best acting I've seen with a non-speaking role.
Well, you know, he says his movie idol is Clint Eastwood. I think he's working on that Eastwood look.
Yes.
The mailman, 16 points to lead all scores. After his second MVP. Wide open here in the middle of the third period for the individual honor. 6.5 minutes left in the third quarter. Barkley with the West leading by 2, now by 3.
You know, Charles made an interesting statement. He said, you know, everybody says I'm having an MVP type year, but I've been having these type of years for a long time, but I've just been on losing teams. Now everybody recognizes me because I'm on a winning team.
Some doubted how he would fit in out in Phoenix football, as he erased all of those negative thoughts. Thomas away from Stockton, trying to set up O'Neal. Knocked away by Elijah Wan. Pippen back to intercept. Central Arkansas. Larry Johnson from UNLV. Pippen seems to be in the right spot at the right time too often for defenses around the NBA.
Well, I think right now that the East is trying to force feed Shaquille a little bit too much right now.
Malone on the pass from Stockton, and he is fouled.
That's that old 1-2 punch. that Utah 1-2 punch. Well, right here, this is the old Utah play. They were going to cross screen for the mailman, but what happened was the defensive man turned his back to John Stockton. He just high-lobbed, easy two.
Now the man who leads the All-Star Classic career in assists is sitting next to me, Magic Johnson, but Stockton has 12 already today, and just as he is going after all your marks in the regular season, so is he in this All-Star game, as O'Neal is resting.
Like I say, he's going to get most of them, if not all of them, and that's just a tribute to him. You know, really nice move right there by Larry Johnson to spin into the lane. And the West coming right back.
Marley.
Thunder Dan.
Under 9, Dan Marley. And he has 9 points.
Dominique. Ewing back in, keeps it alive for the East. And Malone has it knocked away.
Just a second ago, Stockton knew Isaiah was back there cheating a little bit to Isaiah's right, so he goes to Isaiah's left, picks out Marley on the fly for the conversion.
5:11 left in the third.
I tell you, that Dan Marley going to be the most famous Chippewa here soon. He's going to beat you out.
Lay off now, give me a break. Here comes Ewing for the East. The East trailing the West by 5. By 3 is Ewing.
Beautiful pass by Michael Jordan. Just beautiful.
5 points for Pat Ewing. Sean Elliott.
As we can see right now, the pace have picked up, so you get more better plays, more action plays. Now the crowd is back in it.
Johnson against Malone. Thomas double team. Jordan, what a move. He went with a one-handed fake, kept the ball, and Elliott responded as if he were on the string.
Well, he makes you turn your head by putting it over, and then this would have been a terrific dunk at the end if he could have just controlled the basketball. Even Sean Elliott has to laugh at that.
Yes.
Michael got him.
Say, why you tricked me, Michael?
Jordan hanging, and then Johnson, they're not looking for the pass. Jordan saves it. Ewing with 10. Inside, Jordan. And he is fouled by Elijah.
After all that, Michael had an easy layup. He can't believe it. He's laughing. He can't believe how open he was underneath. You don't get many of these opportunities, and when it's Michael getting it, you just don't expect him to miss the layup.
Love the story his dad told us at the All-Star game a year ago. Michael Jordan's dad said, you know, it might have been baseball. He was a terrific shortstop. You can imagine he could play that position. He said, but he grew so fast as a freshman, between his freshman and sophomore years in high school, that his uniform looked bad on him. It was way up to his knees, his trousers. And he said, I can't look like that and play this game. And so basketball is blessed by the fast growth of Michael Jordan.
Well, not only is basketball, but we as basketball players, myself, former basketball player, as well as the fans, to witness the greatest player that ever played this game, and with flair and excitement.
Elijah Wan, partially blocked by Ewing. Here comes Jordan. The East with the ball down by 4. Jordan, it just won't fall for Michael. Dominique, and Stockton fires to the other end of Marley. 2 Eastern players back, so Elliott slows it up. And traveling the call is some good defense by the East.
Little give-and-go basketball that time by Elliott. Passing the post, cut without it. Jordan makes the move, splits the defenders, finds the seam, gets in there, gives you a little showtime, and then just at the end, can't make it fall through.
Ewing to Isaiah and handcuffed Thomas, but out of bounds to the East. Well, another local hero, the NFL's most valuable player, Steve Young of the 49ers, former All-America at BYU. In attendance, makes his home in Park City and in Provo. Stockton out to a hand from the locals. Price is in and hits a 3 on his first shot of the second half.
three-point champion. He is the three-point best shooter. He proved that last night, huh?
And the league's best free throw shooter. The mailman over Nance. East with a chance for the lead. Jordan to Ewing. Knocked away by Elijah. Ooh, Porter hit his Price went in for the steal. Elliott to Marley, and Marley was too far underneath, and the foul.
Just a few moments ago, something that's very familiar to Michael. Draw the defense, kick to an open teammate. Normally it's John Paxson. Now it's Mark Price.
Welcome back to Salt Lake City. 32 years ago, the game was in Syracuse, and another rookie introduced himself to the All-Star game. The great Oscar Robertson, 23 points, 14 assists, led the West to a 22-point win. The rookie was named the game's MVP, Oscar Robertson, and a young man who started for Crispus Attucks High School in Indianapolis. They won the state title.
Well, right now, I am the leader of the triple doubles in the NBA, but if they had been keeping him back when Oscar was playing, no doubt he would be the leader. And matter of fact, he taught all of us how to get a triple double.
Well, the whole season he averaged a triple double.
No question about it. So, and a high triple double too.
Great player. Yes. 78-75 as Elliott hits a pair for the West. 2 minutes plus remaining in the third quarter. There have been 11 lead changes. Oh, Larry Nance up to bat home the rebound.
Can you believe this guy is, what, 36 or 5?
Well, wait a minute, he's only 34 now.
34? I can't believe it that he's playing this well at 34 years of age.
How good are the Cavaliers? 3 All-Stars in this game. Malone can't connect. Robinson fights, and it's Dominique the other way.
But they're one of 3 teams in the East who have a real chance of going to the championship.
Marley steals the pass from Jordan to Malone. He was in the right postal code for that one. 21 to lead all scorers for Karl Malone.
That's what's so tough about Karl. Not only can he score inside, but he also can get out on the break and score points that way. And that's unheard of at a power forward spot.
Yeah, we're talking about Shaq and his size, how he moves. Malone, for that big body, really can motor. Nance with the left hand. Jordan in for the rebound and is fouled.
Well, what you want is a little bit of action down inside. Ewing thinks he's got enough space to get the shot off. He gets a little bit of rim, but Larry Nance with the follow.
Says he's looking for a sponsor, Nance, for that dragster of his, a 68 Camaro. Catch 22, he calls it, and he says, you know, when I retire, I'm going to drive. I said, come on, you really want to do that? He said, I'll build a seat, cockpit for me. I'm going to be a drag racer.
I wonder what his wife is going to say about that.
2-point lead for the West team in white. Terry Porter of Portland against Mark Price of Cleveland.
And that's what it came down to last night, and Terry couldn't hit, 2 shots out of the last 5 balls.
Porter to Robinson. Malone battling Robinson for possession, and it's Marley with a loose ball. To Porter.
See, that's what Marley can do for you.
3-pointer for Price, and he gets the tray in a hurry. 82-81.
Heads up by Michael Jordan. Got out of bounds. Quickly fired the ball down the floor. Caught Price behind the 3-point line for 3.
38 seconds left in this third quarter, and a foul as Malone takes it to the hole. Boomer Esiason, left-hander from Cincinnati. For whom will he be playing in the NFL next year? No hints there.
No hints.
Maybe Utah's going to pick him.
Yeah, but he's voting for Patrick Ewing right there. That's his guy on his sweatshirt. You know, we should mention right now that most of the players want to bring their wives and families. Patrick Ewing's wife, Rita, had to stay home. She recently graduated from Georgetown Law School and is studying for a bar exam that she's taking this week, and Patrick wanted to wish her well in the exam coming up.
And that's wonderful. And good luck from all of us, too.
Georgetown close to your heart, your daughter, Christy.
You know, Christy happens to go there, yeah.
Can you imagine if Patrick make as much money as he's making, and now his wife can negotiate all his contracts now?
Karl Malone leading all scorers now with 23, and Price with his third tray. Ties it at 84.
I tell you, as far as the point guard, talking to a pure point guard, now John Stockton game right now. But as far as a point guard that can do everything, Mark Price has to be the best in the game.
2-second difference in the game and shot clocks. Great pass, no look by Porter. And Robinson gives the West the lead. 3 seconds left. Last shot of the quarter by Dumars, and he just misses.
Trying to make it happen off the two-man game. Well, this is a different kind. It's dribble penetration, which leads to the dump-off pass, the conversion by David Robinson.
Meanwhile, the Jazz fans rooting for John Stockton and Karl Malone, and Malone leads all in scoring with 23. The East against the West. The 43rd All-Star game continues after these messages and a word from your local station. To the Delta Center, Dick Enberg with Mike Fratello, Magic Johnson, Ahmad Rashad, Snapper Jones with us on the sidelines as we go to the fourth quarter. A 2-point game, the West in front. The East, Pat Riley has 5 reserves out there. Price, Dumars, Ewing, Dominique, and Nance. Danny Manning, David Robinson, Porter, Barkley with the ball, and Hardaway for the West. Barkley not there, and here comes the East with a chance to tie. Mark Price played 3 minutes in the third quarter and was 3 for 3 from three-point range. Wilkins with a flash, and it just won't fall. Robinson to Porter. Well, good job by Porter to elude Mark Price.
Dick, you made me chuckle a little bit a second ago. You said the East has, Pat Riley has 5 reserves out there. Not bad reserves out on the floor.
You got that right.
What else do you call them, though? That's a tough part of describing a game of this sort.
88-84 as Dumars pumps. Barkley rebounds. Manning to Robinson, and he's fouled by Ewing.
First of all, it was an excellent defense by Patrick Ewing to hustle back and knock it away. And then Danny Manning retrieves it and fires it right quick, right back to Robinson. And of course, he gets fouled.
The Admiral, actually a first lieutenant, part of that 24-4 run of the San Antonio Spurs under Coach John Lucas. That's been one of the big stories of this season.
Yeah, well, you know, they believe in John. They also respect John, and they're playing hard for him, and that makes all the difference. That being John Lucas.
Price, Wilkins. Back to Price for 2.
It was too short. That's why he missed it.
Wilkins to Nance.
Shot wasn't long enough for him.
Good move by Nance, and draws the foul.
You know, they had the ball around the basket a couple times, and each time they looked up, they saw David Robinson hanging around there, had second thoughts about it.
Yeah, that intimidation by the shot blocker, Robinson.
Now here comes Brad Daugherty just checked in, so you know Pat Riley is definitely going to go with Shaquille down the stretch to try to win this game.
89-85, the 7th point for Larry Nance. There's Pat Riley, just 2 All-Star coaching appearances behind the all-time leader, Red Auerbach, with 11. And Westfall in his first year as head coach at Phoenix.
Yeah, and I think too that you know, after everything Pat Riley had said, he was just really saying that about Patrick Ewing in terms of defending his player. And I think he was also talking about being a veteran too.
Nice company on that list.
Very nice.
Arnold Red Auerbach. He's here for the All-Star weekend.
And what makes it even more interesting is Pat Riley really didn't want to be here. You know, he only got it because Phil Jackson can't go 2 times in a row because of the NBA rule.
Riley rule. That's the Riley rule.
Yeah, the Riley rule. And he'd rather have been in Malibu on the beach, relaxing at his home there.
Yes, it goes back to the fact that the trainers rotate who has the honor of being the trainer for the All-Star game each year. The coaches for years said we should do the same thing, but they never voted it in, and Riley kept on going for the West. Barkley backing him down to a spot where he feels comfortable, but to go back to the Riley situation, Riley gets out of coaching for a year. They voted in that you won't do it. What happens, he winds up in the East, and now he's the All-Star coach again.
Well, you can see the wear and tear of the season on his face, though, can't you? Yeah, tough life.
Yeah, because he puts his heart and soul into it. He wants to win so bad, not only for himself and the team, but for New York, the city of New York, all Knick fans.
Porter on the run with Robinson, and what a play by Price. The little guy back defending on a 2-1 break. Hard away to Robinson. That one won't be stopped.
Imagine, Mark Price was thinking about diving for that loose ball, and just before he left his feet, he noticed it was Charles Barkley that was chasing it down. He thought twice about it.
That's right. I could end up on the injured reserve list challenging Charles Barkley. Nice move.
Doherty ends the Eastern drought. They'd missed the last 6. 6 points for Doherty from Black Mountain, North Carolina. Hardaway misses on the drive. Schrempf clears it out to Price. Price to Dominique inside. Boy, this won't fall for Dominique Wilkins.
He's having a tough time. The shots are right there. Instead of rolling in, they're rolling out for him.
Plus, you have to remember he's getting challenged by David Robinson.
Dominique is 1 for 10, and Danny Manning much better than that for the West. He has 10 points. 6-point lead for the West with 8.5 to go. Good pass by Doherty, who is a terrific passer for a center. In fact, leads the league in assists by centers.
Well, talk about all these block shots. You wouldn't expect Mark Price to be the guy to get up there, way up, Mark, and take that potential lob away from David Robinson. And then you want a little action at the end of the fast break? Well, give it to the big man. Let him finish.
Well, while all the action is here at the Delta Center, the former home of the Utah Jazz, these are the fans who couldn't get tickets. They're watching this telecast on large screen television, and this, of course, the site of the whole jam session this weekend. And young and old, they've had a great time here in Utah, and that shows their love for this game and, of course, this special weekend.
You know, you mentioned that you had an opportunity to go over there and have your own broadcast tape made, but you even had a chance to have your own All-Star card made up. And Magic, I'll give you one of my cards later on.
Well, please autograph it.
That'll take it from 25 cents to 30, I would think.
Why would you do that?
Well, I'll get a card. I'm just, maybe I am jealous. Dominique Wilkins, your former player. You certainly, best of all, can appreciate his enormous talent, Mike.
The fact that he could come back from the torn Achilles tendon the way he did at the beginning of the season, then he winds up breaking his hand and then comes back from the broken hand and has played superb basketball. Talk about Warriors. That guy shows up, loves to play the game of basketball. He'd play every night. Rather, maybe not so many practices, just give me more games.
Hardaway with 10, and stolen by the East. It's Mark Price. And it's Wilkins who is the recipient of all that work. 95-93, and now it's starting to get serious. 8 minutes to go.
This is it now. This is the time where it's when this game is either going to be won or lost right here. Everybody's going to get serious and play even harder.
Robinson over Schrempf, and a foul.
What they did is they rewarded Dominique for the hustle. He's actually the one who steps up and starts this play happening. Price decides he's going to give it up to Dumars, but Dumars knows that it was Nick who started it also. We'll let Nick catch up and finish it off.
18 points for David Robinson. And he's 4 for 7 from the line. Wilkins given a breather. Scottie Pippen back in for the East. Michael Jordan still on the bench for the East, and the Utah tandem of Stockton and Malone still resting for the West. Joe Dumars. the foul by Dumars.
Well, that Hardaway is so quick and clever.
The two-step, I think they call that down in El Paso.
Well, it was a crossover in front first, and then a crossover between his legs. Watch in front, between his legs, and go right by him. Joe said, I'm not going to let you embarrass me. I would rather foul you.
He gave it to him both ways. One from the front, one from behind.
Yes.
Facially, he almost looks like somewhat of a junior Charles Barkley, Tim Hardaway.
He was 7 for 7 from the line today.
He's so strong. You know, he's so low to the ground as well in terms of his center of gravity. So when he cross over, he's really moving forward when he cross over. Like myself, I had to cross over. I'm still standing straight up. Then I had to take a step.
Take my picture, and then I'll move.
Yes.
Scottie Pippen pulls the East within 3. It's 98-95 with 7:23 left in the fourth quarter. This be headed for overtime. There have been 4 in All-Star history. A three-pointer for Porter. Pippen to Price. Dumars. He wanted to go to some help, and there was none there.
I think he actually saw Danny Manning cutting down the lane, and for a second thought that was going to be a flashing teammate of his. Manning was trying to cut off the man opposite on the low box, instead the turnover.
The roar in the background, as you can see, Karl Malone stripping off his jacket. He has 23. That's still more than anyone in this game. Hardaway for 3, and that's a big basket. Sends the West up 101-95.
Well, the crowd was cheering because also they know that he's in line for that MVP award. They want him to get it.
Mark Price, he's 4 for 4 from three-point range in this half.
And he's also on that list of candidates for the MVP. He's brought them back.
All of his points on trays, 12 for Price. Barkley, a power move, and then the pass to Manning.
Nice cut, nice pass, nice cut.
A dozen for Manning, who is 6 for 6 from the floor. His first All-Star game. Oh, Brad Doherty with that little soft jump hook.
You know, he doesn't do anything spectacular, just everything good. It's just rebounds, he's a great passer, you know, but he's not going to do anything fancy.
Pippen and Barkley, a little bump and shove inside, and here they are matched. 7 on the shot clock for Porter. Jamming his way in, no whistle, and Dumars picks it off. Here comes the East down by 3. Price, can he tie it? Yes!
Talk about looking across the floor. Those Chicago players know to look across the floor because it's Paxson they usually find during the regular season.
But I think they'd rather have Mr. Price. He has a little bit deeper range.
Game tied for the 9th time, and Barkley unties it.
You're seeing some excellent passing by big people on the inside, which is great to see.
2-point game with 5:14 left.
Now this is serious. Charles Barkley, Pippen trying to get down to that low box. Pippen says you're not getting there. Charles says I am getting there. Pippen comes around and takes the front. Charles comes back, tries to reestablish. And then at the end, after everything's said and done, perhaps shades of the game against the Angola Magic. Barkley, after he comes around his teammate, a little shot with the elbow.
A little pork chop, huh?
That means that the game has gotten serious, and now everybody wants to win now. And that's just to let Pippen know, if we reach the finals, you reach the finals, this is what you're going to get.
Barkley at the line with a 2-point West lead. Lanham says he's only 6'4". Do you think he's taller than that?
No. 6'4", 6'5", that's it.
3-point game. Price draws the foul. Stockton back in, as is Malone for the West.
Tough call right now for Pat Riley in substitutions because Price is playing so well. You have Michael sitting on the bench. You want to get Michael back in the game for the final minutes down the stretch. And then the big decision, who's coming out on the floor in that center spot? Is it going to be O'Neal? Is it going to be Patrick Ewing? Or you wind up playing them both together on the floor?
Well, not only that, but Brad Daugherty right now is playing very well. He's hit what, 3 hook shots in a row, and this team out here is playing well as a unit. So do you mess with that unit, or do you come back with the so-called starters that the fans have voted in? But hey, here comes Patrick Ewing. Wow.
Stockton against Price. Barkley from outside. Olajuwon, and Schrempf is able to tie him up. A good play by Detlef Schrempf.
Now, let me ask you a question. Why would you say, wow, that it's Patrick Ewing? You know him, Pat Riley. What's going to happen at the end of a game if Riley's got some guys on the All-Star team?
And Michael Jordan coming right back. I knew that he was going to go to Ewing, but I just said, wow, just to please you.
Marley for the West for Hardaway. So here's the lineup now. It's Olajuwon, Malone, Barkley, Stockton, and Marley. Schrempf, Price, Jordan, Daugherty, and Pippen for the East.
I should point out that one year,
Malone fouled by Schrempf.
When Pat Riley was the coach, he came into the locker room, and we were at the All-Star game. I can't remember what year, but he told everybody, if the game gets close down the 4th quarter, I'm going with all my guys. So, you know, the game got close. He went with myself, Kareem, and I think it was Jamal then. And we ended up pulling that game out. But every time down, he called a Laker play, and none of the other 2 guys who were non-Lakers didn't know what we were doing to do.
That was the fist play.
Yes, the old fist play. That's Kareem play.
Get the ball to the big guy. Yeah. Malone hits 1 of 2, 107-104. Karl Malone with 24 points to lead. But no sense to win the MVP as Pippen. Ewing rebounds. Jordan. Great pass by Price. Jordan for 3. No, he'll try the 2 and is fouled by Olajuwon. Who are the top candidates, gentlemen, for the MVP if you had to vote?
Well, if I'm going to go with, talk about the Eastern squad, you have to consider Michael Jordan, Mark Price for what he's done here, and off his early performance, Shaq was up there, but maybe fading a little bit here in the second half.
Right, and then on the West side, you got Karl Malone and David Robinson. And both those guys have played very well.
And with 4:22 left, it may come down to the man who makes the winning shot. Jordan pulls the East within 1. Stockton over Price, and it was Pippen who came out to challenge as well. The East down court looking for their first lead here in the 4th quarter. Pippen over Olajuwon, and it's Barkley breaking out with Marley. Jordan to beat, and Jordan fouls him.
Pippen seemed like he tried to find a little extra lift right at the end. He knew that the big fella was coming over to try and block it. He hung just a little bit long, got a little extra ups on it, but just couldn't send it down.
And you know what happened was that Hakeem jumped right in his path in terms right in his face, so he couldn't dunk it over him because Hakeem's hand was right there. So Scottie had to hold it, and when he held it that 1 second, it was just too far for him to dunk over.
With Barkley missing the free throw, it winds up being a good foul then by Michael Jordan to prevent the easy layup.
Barkley looking for his 12th point. And a 2-point West lead, 108-106 with just under 4 minutes to go. Now Riley up off that stool. Now he's pacing the sideline, so it's serious indeed.
It's winning time.
Malone comes out on Jordan. Jordan way short. And that pleases the Utah crowd. For 3. 12 for Barkley. Phoenix fans have seen him do that all season long. Timeout, Pat Riley.
together. Dan Marley knew that Charles Barkley was going to kick it to him. He just got his feet together, and you know what it is. Good.
Spot up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my.
And Pat Riley, now down by 5, says timeout. NBA Commissioner David Stern, or this game is testimony to how serious his teams play. I mean, the athletes here today have played very hard. This isn't the usual all-star, let's just have a good time game type action. They played hard. Coaches have worked it hard, and it comes down to a 3-point margin. West leading East 111-108. Foul before the shot.
And then give both coaches as well as the players a lot of credit for coming out here and playing as hard as they've played, because they put it all on the line, and all of them know that they have the second half of the season to look forward to too, and they put it all out here this afternoon.
Stockton's 4th point. Well, unfortunately, because they have to tally the votes, they ask for the press to vote on the MVP and have it in by 3 minutes left. So it is now 3 minutes to go. So if somebody has a dramatic final 3 minutes to win this game, it won't be taken into account. Jordan draws the foul from Marley.
And right now, to this 3 minutes and what the score is right now, you almost have to say it's Karl Malone, especially if the West ends up winning this game. But like you said, if the East comes back and wins the game, then Mark Price becomes a big factor.
Jordan hits the free throw, and interestingly, Shaq O'Neal has played only 6 minutes the second half, because Pat Riley has used O'Neal a total of 20 minutes in the game at this point.
Well, I think he's just saying, well, these guys, I'm going to play these guys. They probably deserve it because what they've done over the past years. And you're going to have 17, 18 All-Star games, Shaq, so don't you worry about it.
3-point lead for the West. 2:40 to go. Malone and Ewing. And the rebound, Isaiah Thomas. Here comes the East. Great pass to Pippen, and it's knocked away by Karl Malone. He saved 2.
Are you surprised that as well as Mark Price played, that he's on the bench now, Isaiah's back in?
Well, he's probably tired right now, and he needs a breather. He's been in there a long time.
Jordan, pick and roll to Doherty, and rebound by Olajuwon. 2:20 to go.
Okay, right here I would go to Karl Malone. If I was John Stockton, just keep going, force feeding it in there to him. He's played very well.
Olajuwon was 7, Barkley. And Pippen steals it. And Pippen shoots. Jordan up the back of Barkley, and that's a big back to climb. And the foul on Michael.
I'm not quite sure that Scottie Pippen really wanted to do that. I think initially Pippen wanted to, after they come up with the basketball, Pippen wanted to cross the ball over to the left side of the floor. But what happens is he doesn't see the angle. Michael tries to follow, has to go over a few people's backs, but so what? It's Michael. He should be allowed to.
But the only reason he got that foul is he lost the ball once he came down. And because bodies went flying, that really wasn't a foul. It was after he lost it, then they decided to call a foul. Because how can you push Charles Barkley to the floor? Michael Jordan.
Shaq O'Neal getting ready to report. 1:54 left. Barkley looking for his 13th point. A 4-point West advantage.
The only thing I can say to Shaq, Dick, is that all rookies have been through this. Myself, Michael Jordan, Isaiah, we've all started, but we all were limited in our minutes because of veterans who, deservingly so, should get a lot of time in All-Star games because they've been there so many times.
And to talk to this young man, he's going to handle this perfectly. He understands. I have not met a rookie who's come in and had the presence that this young man has. There's a long, bright career ahead for him.
Exactly.
Ewing gets away with a walk. And now the second. And timeout called by the West with the ball and the lead. 1:14-110. A minute 40 seconds to go. Magic's here, but not in uniform. We're glad he's with us. And it's a rare time a Celtic and a Laker are not in the All-Star game. It's never happened before. There's always been usually both, but one or the other represented.
And I don't think it'll happen again. Both franchises are great franchises.
Reggie Lewis, many thought he should have been.
No question about it. But both franchises are down right now, but they'll be back.
Stockton to Barkley to Malone. Olajuwon might have gotten away with a push, or was it Barkley?
Looks like it's Patrick Ewing.
Ah, Barkley with a look on his face of, did I do it? Number 33.
First, Patrick gave you that, me? And then he goes, yeah, it was you.
Sends Olajuwon to the line. And now Hakeem has not had a great All-Star game, but what a tremendous, has anyone played better, any superstar in this league played better to this point with so little publicity than Olajuwon?
No, he's done it. And you know what? He hasn't worried about that contract situation or the owner argument that they had last season. He's played over all that and just having a tremendous season.
1:15, 1:10, time running out. 70 seconds to go. 75. Jordan banks one home. It's a three-point game.
Well, this guy's used to big finishes in this building, isn't he?
Yes.
23 for number 23. Olajuwon stripped to the ball by Isaiah.
Now, you don't need a three right now, do you, Magic?
No, you don't need a three. You have plenty of time to get a deuce, come back down and play good defense again.
Marley hawking Jordan. Rebound Malone to Marley. Whoa, almost. A mistake by the West, and it's Malone inside, and they love that in Salt Lake. Shot, folks, had MVP written all over it.
It's a matter of slipping it inside Michael before he can get the swipe, and you're on your way to MVP.
A reminder, folks, right after our All-Star Classic, stay tuned. Wayne and Garth Saturday Night Live primetime special. There'll be humor with Bill Murray, Steve Martin, Eddie Murphy, and great music. Springsteen, Whitney, Eric Clapton, Nirvana, R.E.M. That follows Eastern time zones, and at 9 o'clock in the West End Mountain Zone. So stay with us here on NBC.
Well, if Pat Riley should decide he wants to go for the three-pointer here, he might take a quick two off the dribble. But you have Mark Price, who's 8th best in the league from behind the three-point line, and Dumars is on the bench, who's 13th best.
Price is 5 for 7 and hits the three. What a game for him. And the foul by Jordan on Marley to stop the clock. 1:17, 1:15, just under 26 seconds to go. 5th foul on Michael.
This was set up off the out-of-bounds play. A double screen to free up Mark Price. He catches it. He squares up. Bottom of the net.
It's almost too bad that you can't give out 2 MVPs. It's just like last season, last year's game, that Clyde Drexler could have been the MVP as well. It's a shame. And this year, same thing could happen.
Marley misses. So even if he makes the second shot, the East is a three-pointer away from a tie.
Now, Michael is over there talking to Pat Riley, and what they're talking about is whether or not they should bring it up and try and go for a shot in transition, or whether they want to take a timeout and advance the basketball.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting call to see what he actually wants to do here.
I think he'll take the timeout and advance it.
Marley gives the West a three-point lead, and indeed Riley has called time and to set up a play with 25.9 seconds left.
This guy must have been a coach Mike Fratello.
Well, I'm smart enough to know that if this works the first time that we see right there, let's call a timeout. Riley likes it. That's why he took that timeout. Right. He wants to set it up again.
Body language. Okay, good.
Now, do you bring in Joe Dumars, who's been sitting there cold, knowing
that he is an outstanding three-point shooter, or do you leave the guys on the floor? You know, Isaiah's made big shots throughout his career. Michael certainly has made a number of big threes, as we witnessed on NBC last year in the championship series. So what happens right now?
Knowing Pat Riley, I don't think he's going to go for a three.
I think he's wild. If I could interrupt a moment just to tell folks what we have
you got to do
next
that.
Sunday, because we're going to see Riley again in the first game as his Knicks go against Chuck Daly's Nets. That should be a dandy. And then following the first game, we'll have San Antonio and Orlando. They tipped it off at the start today. David Robinson, Shaquille O'Neal. It's the first time they've ever met, and they go for real next Sunday in Orlando. Shaquille O'Neal and David Robinson.
And the fans will get the chance to see Shaquille play about 40 minutes.
Hey, you was hard to say about Riley not going for the three.
I don't think, knowing Coach Riley like I do, in a situation like this, he likes to fake like he's going for the three, get a quick two, foul again, and keep making it, make the East, the West, make free throws. So
put the pressure on the foul.
Exactly.
But you only got so many timeouts now. It's too late.
Yeah, you're right.
Just under 2 seconds now, a 24-second clock and the game clock. And here comes Danny Manning in. A late move by Paul Westphal as he's going to defend the inbounds pass by Pippen. Tough getting it in.
Well, a little bit of confusion there. Was it going to be a 5-second call, or were they going to give the timeout to the East before the 5-second violation took place? Pat Riley's laughing because he's the guy who was calling the timeout.
Well, the referees are going to get lenient toward that. They want the dramatics of this game. They don't want to. Why would you call 5? Some dramatic, some. You don't know what's going to happen at the end of the game.
You don't think the officials know what the score is in the game, do you?
In this game, yes. In a regular season game, no.
That's supposed to just officiate the game.
Well, the East has one timeout left. Paul Westphal with a couple.
It's all about drama right now. This is wonderful. I love it. What's going to happen?
Well, Westphal, much calmer in demeanor. And that's how he played. Riley, a more fiery competitor. He learned that from Chick Hearn, did Pat Riley, because that's how he really started his career as an announcer with Chick Hearn. And, of course, Chick told him all you'd want to know about coaching.
Exactly. Well, who did he learn to dress from?
He is a bon vivant.
West is taking the man off the ball. Watch for Pippen in for a shot after he passes it back.
Right into Jordan. The quick shot, and he makes it. That's your call, Magic.
Yes.
And now let's see about the quick foul.
Yes.
Timeout West.
See, Coach Riley knew that, hey, let's get a quick two for the three. And he's always been known for that ever since he's been coaching, since I've known him.
Yeah, the only problem is, though, you have to have somebody that can make a shot in that kind of situation. You think you put the ball in the right guy's hands?
Of course.
How many is that for Michael Jordan? 25, I believe. That would give him, I believe, the lead, at least for the East.
What you have is a lot of stuff. That's what Riley's looking at. See, he's fouling. He's ready to foul right away. Telling the guys, get up, find your man. In the meantime, the West is trying to take the timeout and decide now what they're going to do with the basketball. Do you take it out on the baseline where you have more room and it's easier to get in and they're allowed to run the baseline? Or do you advance it to half court where they must be stationary and it's tougher to get it in?
I'll tell you what you do. You take a commercial break. Your coaches know that. Let's go to Steve Jones.
All right, Dick. Paul Westphal during the timeout said, I want the best free throwers in the game. Charles Barkley put up his hand. He pushed him away. He's got Tim Hardaway, John Stockton, Terry Porter coming in, hasn't played, Karl Malone, and Dan Marley. They're expecting to get fouled. They want to make sure that they hang on to this lead.
So the timeout well taken by Westphal to get his free throw shooting team on the floor.
If I was the East, I would let Terry Porter have it. He's the guy who's the coach, and him make the free throw because he just came off the bench.
They got a big man Pippen on the basketball right now. Away that long touchdown pass, trying to cause him problems getting it in.
Into Porter, and all alone is Hardaway. What a play by Price.
He committed the foul. It looked as if he might have gotten the ball.
A nice play that time by the Western team. They passed the ball from out of bounds to out of bounds, ran some stuff on the floor, and sent the man long right away after the initial out of bounds pass.
Mark Price, he has played so very well today.
He's disgusted right there because he got back cut on that first pass that went from out of bounds to out of bounds. Price turned his head for a second, didn't figure his man was going to take off and go long, and that's what happened.
Hardaway has not missed, as you can see, 8 for 8 from the line.
Now, I don't think they're going to call a timeout. If he makes this, it's only a 2-point game. I think he's going to get in transition, let Michael go one-on-one instead of let a set defense play against him, and that being Pat Riley for the East.
Well, that's fine if the ball can wind up in Michael Jordan's hands, but if it winds up in somebody else's hands and Dan Marley doesn't allow Michael Jordan to catch the basketball, then who do you go to?
Well, right now, Isaiah Thomas is letting the officials know that they want a timeout no matter what happens.
So it's a 2-point game, 119-117, with 16.7 seconds left. The East with the ball, 2 to tie, and possible overtime.
I don't know where that long pass came from for the West team. This man who took the ball out of bounds and threw the thing across this way is the one who takes off and goes long. Mark Price is the guy that's supposed to pick him up in their zone defensive alignment. What happens is, on the pass across, the takeoff, Price doesn't see him go long, too late. Now he has to foul to prevent the easy layup.
Good view of that from the sky cam. Here's a look at the scores. Price has 19, second to Michael Jordan. Jordan with 25. Karl Malone leads the West with 26. Robinson 19, Hardaway 16.
All these people on their respective teams are usually the go-to guys. Now you have a bunch of go-to guys on the floor together. So who's the go-to guy of the go-to guys?
The go-to guy, the main guy. What I would do is give it to Michael Jordan in a 1-4 situation. If anybody's coming to help, you kick it to that guy, you got a shot.
The nice thing is there's plenty of time here, provided you get the ball inbounds first. Plenty of time to make something happen.
No more timeouts for the East, so they have to get it in. 16.7 seconds. 24-second clock off as the East looks for a tying and perhaps a winning play.
And the last 2 times, they've had a problem getting the ball inbounds. I'm talking about the East team. It has not been easy. The West has done a good job of zoning up areas and taking cutters coming to the ball out of their routes.
Jordan with Marley. Ewing is open. 8.1 seconds. 119.
The ultimate in team player. The man who everybody in the building knows is going to take the shot and try and bring the heroics to himself. Instead, he brings 2 defenders and finds Patrick Ewing. First, he comes up and sets a good screen. Then Jordan's going to create off the dribble, but he will get 2 defensive players to try and stop the ball in that area. Then Ewing steps back to the baseline. 2 defensive guys. There it is, wide open. All you got to do is earn your money and put it in the bottom of the basket.
Magic, you know they call him the czar.
That's right.
He's the czar.
He just showed why.
You got a guy like that out in front, number 23, that can make things happen. It's a lot of fun for everybody.
Look at that, Riley. He's coached minutes like he's Zubin Mehta. I mean, he's been a maestro on the sidelines.
Well, his natural reaction is hurry up, get back, in case they try and rush him back down the floor.
And here's $1 million smile, Patrick Ewing, after he makes it.
Of course, you know, both teams want to win, but you know you want to be the player that makes it happen.
Steve Jones has been around the Western huddle.
Paul Westphal has set up a play for Karl Malone and Charles Barkley. The first option is Karl Malone, and if they don't get it, they'll try to lob to Barkley at the basket. They all know they have no timeouts left. We could see overtime.
Marley will inbound the ball with Jordan on him. Now Jordan backs off and will double team the inbounds man. Stockton knocked away by Ewing. Out of bounds to the West.
The East team can't believe that there was any deflection on that. Their feeling is that Stockton just lost it on his own.
A little over 5 seconds.
Now here will come the problem in an All-Star game because no timeout. So now what's going to happen? Who's going to get the ball here?
Barkley. Hardaway. Hardaway. Overtime.
Oh my! I got your fan. This is great. The crowd is loving it.
Just looked over here and gave a look as if to say, can you believe this? He's having fun on it on the floor. A little curl move by Stockton gets him free. He draws the defense of the East over, and it's there that he loses the basketball off his hand. The East team was going their way. Problem is the official had it going the other way. Now on the quick inbounds play, it's the swing over to Hardaway, who steps inside, tries to go underneath and scoop it up. Just can't buy it at the end.
Pat Riley reacting. This 43rd All-Star game is a classic. Has this one, the 5th overtime, 43 years. 4 of those have been in the last 14. So things tightening up East and West, and a rally by the East orchestrated by Pat Riley.
And I was involved in that last one in '87 where Rolando Blackman got fouled with no time on the clock. He went up there and hit 2 free throws to send it in overtime.
In fact, it was Isaiah Thomas who walked up into his face before the foul shot, said a little something to try and distract him. Blackman knocked them both down.
Shaq O'Neal comes in. The East ahead that entire 4th quarter, but managed to tie.
Hey, what's going to happen now with this MVP voting, huh?
There's a rumor going around. Oh, new sheets are being handed out, so it's going to start all over again.
Yes.
Stockton on Isaiah. Malone underneath. Taken away, and Jordan to Marlin. Barkley passes up on the 3. 5-minute overtime period. Ooh, Thomas gets thrown down by Malone. Check on the foul.
Well, first, let's check the extra effort by Jordan going into the crowd to try and save that one back over his shoulder. Pick and roll situation set up that time.
Foul was on Ewing of the East, his 3rd.
We'll have both big men in there, Ewing and Shaquille, so it'll be interesting to see what happens here.
Malone gets away from Ewing.
Well, I think he's a little too quick for Patrick. Patrick's not used to playing a quick power forward. He's used to playing centers who's a little bit slower than Karl Malone.
Now Ewing's turn. Oh, a tough 10-footer.
Patrick is used to doing that. Turn the baseline, shoot that jumper.
11 points for Ewing.
This is why this is the All-Star game. You get to see the best perform at their best.
Jordan around Robinson, who does a little dozy-do, and around you go to save the 2 points.
The guy that actually made that play happen defensively was Michael Jordan. He made believe that he was going to go away. He hung in there just long enough, then started to go away, and then came right back again, anticipating the post pass, came up with the deflection.
Robinson did the right thing, fouling before he got into that lane.
1 minute gone in the overtime period. Jordan playing, remember, with 5 fouls. And he gives the East the lead. 123-121. 27 for Jordan.
Isaiah's smart enough to know to give the ball and get out of the way, and they're going to make something good happen.
Well, Isaiah wants to win. Isaiah wants to win. He understands that Michael just do his thing.
Barkley against Pippen. Marley, a 3-pointer. Dan Marley gives the West the lead. 120
124-123.
He's making Michael Jordan pay for cheating. You can't go double team Charles Barkley with Michael Jordan, or that's what you'll get right there.
Shaq O'Neal. Robinson rebounds and O'Neal fouls him.
Shaquille was just disappointed that he got that close, basically overpowered the post position, and then just plain missed the layup. But Michael Jordan with the basketball now, he gives a little show, and then let me step underneath and just kiss it off the front of the rim and hope to get a nice little roll.
The West by 1, and Stockton goes the distance. The West by 3.
Oh, Barkley stepping right back in on the inbounds pass. If you rush out of bounds and you don't concentrate, smart defensive player takes a shot at it, that's what happens.
Barkley and Ewing. And it was O'Neal made the block. And a foul. Pippen committing the foul.
Everybody trying to get a little piece of Charles down below right there. Sends a big fella to the ground.
They're playing hard. The winner gets $5,000. The loser, $3,000. That's pocket change, tip money for these guys. But they're playing for competitive pride.
If you don't take your time and you rush it inbounds after a score, don't pay. Barkley makes believe he's going down, but then shoots the gap and comes back for the steal.
Michael Jordan trick.
That's who we got it from.
Karl Malone misses both.
Ooh.
It remains a three-point lead. 2:35 to go.
I might get Mark Price up and get him ready right now.
Jordan to Isaiah for 2. Ewing. Patrick Ewing. 126-125. The West with the lead in the ball. 13 points for Ewing.
Now, when
Stockton left alone.
they've been running the same play over and over, just that pick and roll. They might use different men, but it's the same play for the West. And now the East is going to give their version of the pick and roll.
Less than 2 minutes to go. Ewing over Robinson. Robinson got a piece of it. Barkley embraces the rebound.
Well, that time when he screened and stepped back, it was much deeper than the previous times. Before, it was a 16-foot jumper. That time, a 21-foot jumper.
4 Olympians in white for the West on the floor now. Stockton to Barkley for 3. Sir Charles. Timeout, Pat Riley in the East.
Charles has been basically quiet for most of this game, but when it comes to dramatics, he can do it, and then he can celebrate at the end of it. Once he knows he's made it happen, he loves it.
That's his birthday dance. Charles was 30 yesterday. And here's Charles Barkley, the do-everything Sir Charles.
And we finally got a little reaction out of Paul Westphal then, too.
Yeah, Charles stepped on him a little bit just to remind him about those free throws he wouldn't let him shoot.
That gives the West a 6-point margin with 1:28 to go. How can Riley in the East muster another come from behind? Picked off by Ewing. Jordan. O'Neal. Taken away by Malone. Stolen by Pippen. What a reaction by Scottie Pippen. Ewing. He's all in. Riley with Ewing and Shaquille on the floor, and Westphal has his big guy Barkley along with Martin.
I wonder if they've changed their defense on the pick and roll. They might try. There it is. They're out trapping, trying to get the ball out of his hands.
Less than a minute. Barkley stolen by Michael.
Good pick by Isaiah.
To Pippen and a foul. Robinson reaching in.
I tell you, John Stockton would have had that steal, but Isaiah, with his spark, picked him off.
Covering a great amount of distance on the pass that's a little too soft, a little too high. Scottie Pippen gets back and gets the offense going for the East team. And now this time on the reverse from the blind side, there's the hand in by Michael Jordan, which leads to the fast break opportunity.
50 seconds to go. 4-point deficit facing the East. Jordan trying to cut that in half. Shaquille. Stockton. And timeout called by Stockton, who is...
John Stockton didn't even try to mess around with it. He knew he was in the middle of a big double team. Ewing was there to intercept. Call time. Come up with second shots if they missed the first one. Shaquille trying to get the offensive board. Goes up. Malone goes up. Shaquille throws call down. And after it, he goes and double teams Stockton, who says, I'm out of here. Timeout.
So with 39.6 seconds, O'Neal and the East trail by 4.
Well, they got a foul as soon as they pass it in. Really, the East has no time to they can't let time go off the clock. They got a foul right away.
Used to tell the players, try for the steal in case you come up for it. But if you don't come up with it, you've got the foul immediately.
And with that team they have out there, especially you're talking about Pippen, Jordan, and Isaiah, they could come up with a steal. And also Shaquille can get in that passing lane.
Ewing, too. So they got some good defensive players out there in blue. Foul, Pippen on Marley. Marley in the game is 1 for 2 from the line. 16 points. Chance to build the West lead to 6 with 35.5 seconds left.
Marley, pretty good free throw shooter, 77% for the regular season.
Paul Westfall's players here in overtime. Marley and Barkley imposing on the East.
Well, it's going to take a couple of trays for Riley's Eastern team to tie it.
And we'll see Mark Price when we come back. Paul Westfall, old number 44, has had his number retired by Phoenix.
His team has a 6-point lead, and Steve Jones has been looking in on that western sideline. Well, that's all. The Snappers move to the east.
Okay, I snuck down here, and Pat Riley is thinking go through Michael Jordan to set up Mark Price or Isaiah Thomas for the three-point shot. So look for a 3.
Isaiah or Price and Jordan. Jordan himself could take the 3, and Ewing. Price has tried 8 trays and made 6 today.
That's an all-star record for Price.
Good exterior defense. Jordan with 28 seconds. Line drive.
How do you shoot a 3? Going to your left, fade out of bounds, defensive player on you, getting smacked a little bit, and still knock it down.
Because he's Michael Jordan.
30 points for Jordan.
Yeah, well, Riley said, let's go through Michael Jordan. They certainly did here. Hand in the back, a little bit of a push, fade him to the baseline, in the hole.
Jordan, who has the highest scoring average in All-Star history, 21.
Listen, I'm going this way with you, Michael. Right this way.
You know, it's interesting to see that Pat Riley is pulling for him and his teammate so hard today, and then tomorrow they add war.
They meet in the Eastern Conference Finals, he will be pulling for.
There you go.
Hardaway needs one of these 2. To give the West a 4-point lead.
And there goes Isaiah talking to him. Isaiah's chatting with him.
Somebody better make sure they box out in case it's a long rebound. Isaiah may be on the line instead of Mark Price in this situation.
Hardaway is now 9 for 11. Oh my! Ewing with a rebound. Here comes Price. Plenty of time.
They're going to flow into now the shot attempt.
Stolen by Stockton and then almost taken back but a foul. I believe it was Price.
What happened that time is Price had penetrated so deep that I think his players felt he was going to go in for the score. He, understanding what the score was on the clock, was trying to kick back out to Isaiah. That's with a bad hand. Look how deep he is. Is he going to shoot? No! And the hand by Stockton gets the deflection, and then the basketball.
Another thing, Mike, John Stockton tipped the ball away from Isaiah and made it hit, I think, his right hand, and then he couldn't recover to go get it. Good move by John Stockton. Good defense.
13.5 seconds. 3-point lead. David Robinson is 5 for 8 from the line. So 3 straight misses here in the final seconds by the West, and Mark Price goes over, and Pippen says something to Robinson.
Put a lot of stuff in his ear.
Yeah.
Robinson's 20th point gives the West a 4-point lead, 130. All-Star World to Wayne's World right after the final buzzer. It's been a terrific game for the NBA with our best players, and we got to appreciate the summer in Barcelona, and many of them on the floor today. Top coaches, they've given and it portends many good things for the rest of this year. It's so contentious, especially in the West, as to the teams that will be battling for the chance to go for an NBA title.
Well, if the fans and everybody wondered why the NBA is so popular, they found out today.
And Steve Jones has been listening in on Pat Riley.
Yeah, Pat Riley's dilemma, no timeouts left, so they got to score. Their first option here is Mark Price on a 3. Then they're going to come back and look for Michael Jordan, so they're looking for a score. They'll take the 3 or the 2, and then they're going to look for a push and a foul.
All right, snapper, 4-point advantage. Pippen will inbound the ball from the near sidelines. To Price, forcing the 3. Robinson rebounds, and that should do it. 9.2 seconds.
Well, that time when Price came up open, but he stumbled when the ball was coming to him, and he couldn't regain his balance, and too bad. Because he had a good look, and he was open.
It's so difficult to get the ball inbounds from a side out in the NBA because of the great athletes, because the defenses are so good, and the coaching in the timeouts is normally so good during the season. That's why the execution becomes so important. It's inches when you're coming off the screen, where the ball is passed, and a little stumble that time cost them.
You know, and when I played in All-Star games and the game was tight, sometimes you wonder, these guys all are the go-to guys on their team. And I wonder how Michael felt when the play wasn't designed for him.
Scottie Pippen throws the 3. Batted out by Stockton with 3.6 seconds. 5-point deficit staring at the East. Certainly made it a battle. Weren't a lot of loose smiles around. You saw Mark Price just moments ago. That's the kind of smile you saw a lot of in most All-Star games, but not today. It was tense. Co-MVPs, you got your wish. 1993 All-Star MVPs, John Stockton and Karl Malone. A Utah Jazz parlay. Malone had 28 points, 10 rebounds. Stockton, 15 assists and 7 rebounds. The final goes to the West by 5, 135-130. For Mike Fratello, Magic Johnson, Steve Jones, and Ahmad Rashad, this is Dick Enberg. This has been a presentation of the NBA on NBC. Wayne's World is next.